I came up with an idea for a D&D character, which is just kind of I started reading Discworld recently, and like one of the first in the first book they have the character of Two Flower, who's the world's first tourist, and I decided I was going to do that if I ever do a D&D character. Also, we're live. Hey, how's it going?
Oh, hey.
Hey.
Hey, guys.
Welcome. This is episode 157 of the Toonami Escape Podcast. I'm Greg Zeno. Tonight we have B-Dubs making a D&D character.
Hello.
Yeah, he's sort of here. Seacaller.
Hey, guys.
Moreless.
Hey.
And maybe Seda later, I don't know.
We got to find out.
We got to find out. And we got to start because we got some shit to talk about. Okay, First off. So there's a new show coming this upcoming Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think anyone saw this coming.
No, so back when Food Wars was first out, people were saying this would be a weird show for Toonami, but it's just kind of like a haha, wouldn't that be weird? And now it's happened, and it's like, yeah, this is weird.
It is weird.
A couple of people in the thread said that they thought the first season was decent.
I really liked the first season.
You did.
I mean, it's good at doing just like constantly one-upping itself in terms of what
Like, okay, well, but see, I don't understand it, and I don't know anything about it. But like,
so Food War.
Why would this show be enjoyable to watch?
Food War. Have you ever seen Iron Chef?
Yeah.
Okay. Take Iron Chef, make it a battle shonen. It already kind of is, and then just add porn, but both the food and the softcore actual porn variety.
Why?
I'll be honest.
Because if your pants don't immediately fly off, the food wasn't good enough.
I'll be honest. I kind of never been less interested in a new show.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where I am too. But like, I'm also I want to give it the benefit of the doubt because I heard a couple of people say they thought it was kind of fun, and I'm like, really?
I should note that the original manga is written by one guy and it's drawn by a guy that got to start doing porn.
Makes sense.
That's like 50% of manga, isn't it?
No. Like apparently he was. Yeah, apparently he was actually published porn.
Okay, well,
like not just 50% of all manga.
Yeah, no, I mean, like not just for fun. I mean, like
Well, yeah, we again continue to say that is not uncommon.
So he's
but
porn
the
artist.
Point is, though, that like the art is probably good,
especially in certain aspects.
Okay,
looks fairly decently animated from the previous.
I mean,
it is written along with an actual cook to like provide like, okay, here's how this stuff would actually happen in terms of the actual cooking. So for a while, at least, it's pretty legit on that.
I heard it gets pretty dumb later, though.
Well, yeah, it bleaches itself pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
eventually it shares the same fate where it's like clearly trying to do like, or not even. I don't even think it was intended as final arc, but then it became it because they were like, "We're giving you the old shepherd's hook. You got 5 weeks."
I mean, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. I don't think I'm excited for it, but I'm kind of hoping that there will be a character or two that I like or something because I just don't. Just like Morris, it's like my anticipation is just tepid. Because this seems interesting to me.
I liked, as someone who really liked the first season, Sentai.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Has anybody here actually heard like a full episode of the dub or whatever?
Absolutely not.
It could be premiering for all we know. I actually don't know.
I don't know that it is.
I think they released some clips a while ago, didn't they?
People have been talking about Valley Girl Arena for a long time.
Okay, so it's a known thing. Okay,
it's a known thing, and that doesn't give me great
Yeah.
faith in the voice direction. If they're just going straight in, like, hey, here's Snooty Rich Girl. She needs to sound like Valley Girl.
I thought, like, from what I heard, I thought Erina was supposed to be like a super serious character.
Who can
Oh
tell?
yeah, they try to do that. Oh man.
With the Valley Girl voice?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Look, it won't be boring. I can guarantee you it won't be like Black Clover, Naruto Shippuden. God, I just want to fall asleep.
You think it'll be like SAO where we're all excited to watch it be terrible, or it'll just be funny, or
That would be
like, is it
nice.
trying to be funny?
Yes. Like it's certainly a show that it tries to be funny. But in terms of the dub, I think I like season 1. The problem will come from the dub, and then as it goes along, it will get less good.
Oof.
I still remember Log Horizon Cool Cat.
I still want Log Horizon. Give me Log Horizon. I want Pimp Cat.
I think like one Sentai dub we got one time was okay.
Parasite.
Yeah.
Had like equally like, this performance is good. This performance is meh. This performance isn't great. It all averages out to eh.
Miki was alright, I think.
Uh-huh. And then there was a Kame Ga Kill, which was like, this is so bad.
So bad.
And it looks like this might be that level or maybe a bit worse.
Worst part is the ending is pretty much the same in the manga as the Kame Ga Kill. So
Doing some intense exercises there, B-dubs.
Sorry.
I mean, I don't know what to say. It's like it's out. Do you think? I mean, I guess okay. Let's talk about like good things. I mean, I know this sounds the opposite of good, but like, hey, we've got a Sentai show back on the block, right?
ugh.
So, I guess what I'm saying is that like at least variety, you know?
Yeah.
B-dubs.
Yes.
Heavy breathing cat.
Wait, what?
You sound like heavy breathing cat.
What the? How much shit does this mic pick up?
A lot.
Yeah.
Jesus
Just need to
Christ.
whatever you're doing.
Okay, how about this?
Sounds fine now. I mean, I don't hear anything.
You can't hear me?
I mean, I can hear you, but I don't hear breathing.
Okay, I just put it on the lowest possible setting.
This sounds perfect.
Sounds good to me.
I can barely hear you guys now. Whatever.
Dang.
Oh, that's bad.
No, here, let me try this one. How about this?
And I think, for fair play, Grex, I think you keep turning away from your mic too, because you sound like you're on the other side of the room.
I centered it more directly. Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
Like you get
All
quiet
right.
sometimes. I don't know why that is, but anyway, let's stop talking about audio.
Okay.
Everyone, stop breathing.
But how will I talk if I don't breathe?
So yes, Food Wars. It's coming.
This was one of the 2 mysterious shows we didn't know about?
This is definitely
Right.
the one. This is definitely
This is
one
the weird
that
one.
was weird.
Yeah.
They said, "Hey, we have one that's not really in our wheelhouse," and this is definitely it.
I guess. Although, don't people say this is like a shonen?
I
It
mean,
is.
it ran and showed it down.
It technically is.
Again, it's
a non-traditional one.
it's a battle shonen, but the battles are cooking.
It's a non-battle
Yes.
battle anime.
Mm-hmm.
See, the only other thing I knew about Food Wars is I did know about the exploding clothing thing,
Yeah.
but I thought that was something that was added like way later.
Oh no, that's for episode 1.
Yep, that's episode 1.
Which is interesting because it means that DeMarco saw that and goes, "Yeah, green light."
He probably figured it's popular enough. Let's give it a shot. See what we can get away with.
We may need to come to the realization that DeMarco is also kind of horny.
Well, I mean,
he
sex
did-
sells. It doesn't even have to be him. It's obviously part of the reason that show's probably popular.
Keep in mind that it is also you know, one of what was that other show we got with all the nudity?
Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill.
Yeah, that one. I mean, we had
yeah.
that before too.
We aired Kill la Kill. What's Food Wars?
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing in
Yeah,
comparison.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
You know, like
I guess it's
feel,
kind of the same thing too, where it's like, it's not like it's like kind of humorous in how it's doing it, because it's like not really happening, right? Like people's
Right.
clothes don't really fly off, or do they?
No,
They literally fly off.
I thought it was just metaphorical.
Nope.
No.
I read like 3 chapters. I'm like, this is stupid.
Okay, well
Oh,
that
no.
actually
It's metaphorical.
interests me more now.
Bro,
Yeah.
this show will go places.
I heard the ending of the show is hot garbage.
Oh, it's so garbage. The
Well,
dude
we'll never
clearly
get
had
there,
no
though,
idea. Well,
right?
we don't know what we're getting.
Right. Oh,
I mean,
wasn't
I've
there?
heard things about like evil chefs trying to take over the world or something.
Well, of course.
So basically, Yu-Gi-Oh.
I mean,
guess.
this is no doubt a world where cooking is everything, right?
Of course.
Yes.
Well, like except the
In a
main
world where
character
cooking
can
is
cook.
everything, the main character has no taste.
I like it. This is good. Is that true?
No,
No.
Okay, I was to say.
he's actually very good at tasting.
Okay, I was gonna say if he had no taste buds or something, I'd be like, I'm all on board
But
now.
like literally,
I'd be in.
the main female character, like the rival, the rich valley girl we've been talking about, her whole thing is that she has the god tongue. She
The
can
god
taste
tongue.
perfectly.
Okay, the more we talk about this, the more I'm looking forward to it.
It's
so
dumb
it's getting
and
goofy.
it's fun and it's definitely not boring, but it may not be good with the scent. And I even think the first season is good despite being what it is. I just don't know if it will stay that way with a Sentai dub.
I don't know. I kind of feel like this might be a rating stinker.
Oh, you mean like My Hero Academia?
Oh, let's talk about that.
So what the fuck is going on here?
This is
Worst
apparently
series.
DeMarco said this was the ratings guys making this call.
Yes.
Or not the ratings guys, but the scheduling guys. Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
always a mistake to put anything before Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
I also
mean,
agree.
it feels like this is kind of, very stupid.
Well, we should say
This move.
we should say what happened.
Yes,
the show that was at the beginning of the block is
At
now at the very
10:30.
end of the block.
It's now been
Right.
moved to 3:30.
Which I'm kind of like, it makes no sense, but whatever.
Like,
Here's-
even if you want to move it down, that's fine. Why all the way to 3:30?
Okay. Here's what I think it is. I think it's just the ratings guys seeing that no matter where they move it, it gets the same number of eyeballs. So they're like, we'll put it all the way at the end and get people to watch more stuff. They're going to stay for it anyway.
I
And
think.
And they're going to change it in like 3 weeks.
Probably.
Yeah,
I
how many
think-
episodes does it have left? Let me
'Cause
go.
Because if you end with Black Clover, nobody's going to fucking watch that.
Well, this is my point, though. Here's what I think. I think both it and Gundam are premieres at the back of the block. We've not really ever done that before. So I think this is a deliberate move to get people to stay tuned in.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Please stop falling asleep during Black Clover.
Exactly.
No problem.
I think that scheduling has been. I think My Hero Academia is a very expensive license. I think that due to it being around, it coming late and having been around for a while, I think people have already seen it, and I think maybe that has led to it being maybe the one that least justifies its license cost with ratings.
Which one?
I don't know. Where are you getting this data that it's not doing well?
This is clearly DeMarco's been all but said kind of it's not doing well. He kind of went out like he said like if you're mad about this, then watch the show, implying that people aren't watching it.
Well,
I mean, it could well be that, but it would have to be doing hilariously bad to move.
It doesn't
all the
have
way
to
back.
be doing that bad. It has to be doing the worst in comparison to its cost.
I took a look at the ratings for like last week out of curiosity, and it was doing like decently worse than Super.
Well, I mean, was it still first in its demo? I think that's sort of the important thing. Because everyone and their grandma's going to watch Super no matter what. Like, that could be on instant rerun and they'll still come tune in.
Oh, it'll be on instant rerun if it's not back by October.
What's going to happen when Super's gone?
Oh, it's coming back.
It won't go away.
That rumor was that it was going to come back this season, and it hasn't. And now it's like, oh boy.
A lot of people are speculating. Well, from what I hear, a lot of the major guys that were on Super are on Stampede right now.
Yeah. I mean, it might just be that. Because the manga's already going past where, the anime ended, so it's not like they're going to stop. It's just a matter of when they come back.
Well, regardless, I'm bummed about this because I definitely am enjoying My Hero Academia, and I just now the fact that it's going to either one of two things either going to happen. Either I'm going to have to force myself to take caffeine pills so I can stay up long enough to watch it live with everybody, or I'm just
and then you're gonna hit Gundam and die.
Right. And that's going to make it even harder.
I'm hoping Gundam, because it's before everything, is going to. I have hopes.
You have hopes for what?
Gundam.
That'll be good.
I'm gonna give it another chance. I'm gonna give it another chance.
Well, it is about Char, isn't it?
This is the absolute last chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Morris. This is like this is the original story, sort of. So it's supposed to be like the best kind of Gundam, right?
So it could be like an interesting. Here's how it all started. Here's we're not bogged down with centuries of politics. This is the start. Here's a good character study on this very important character.
Yeah, they kind of build it. They kind of build it as a show for people who don't know all about the Universal Century,
right?
Or the 1 Year War, or whatever it's called.
Hey, that's great. It's before all of that stuff,
right? I'm with you, Grex. I'm willing to give it a chance, and I have already seen clips that make it like the animation is definitely unicorn tier.
Yeah, it's another. They cut up another OVA, so
yeah. I mean, it could be good. What is it all about? Char? I mean, he's usually
it's the origins of Char.
It's the origin of Char, and like I guess what leads to the big war that starts the Gundam.
Like I guess it's the origin. Like here it is. The story, the origins of Char set against the rise of the Zabi.
The Zabi, yeah.
I mean, honestly, Char's the most interesting Gundam character anyway. So what the hell?
Excuse me.
Are you forgetting that?
I forgot all the Gundam characters.
Are you forgetting about
Char's
Full Frontal?
Sequel? Full Frontal?
Full Frontal is Char. He just had a different mask on.
But yeah. By the way, My Hero Academia ends on August 17th. It actually has about 7 episodes left.
That's pretty soon.
Does you know what else is actually way sooner? Sword Art Online is ending in 2 weeks.
Already?
Thank God.
Thank God. At least until it inevitably comes back, because this is only the first half of this show.
Yeah, they're doing this.
It'll be back by January.
When is the second half coming in Japan?
It starts airing in October.
Oh, God damn it.
We'll probably get it in like December or something.
So
I'm worried about a simuldub.
So maybe even next episode, we could be sitting here talking about another new show.
Oh, I think it's very likely. And I also think you guys are ragging on this show too hard, because as bad as it is, I'm enjoying every minute of it.
It's bad in the best way possible, except for all the sexual assault.
I can't wait until you guys see
all of that episode, is hate fuel for the fire of enjoyment. It's like, let's laugh at this ridiculous, terrible show. It's great. I will say though, when we get to it, I'll say it in more that like this show's production values are really good.
Except in the area of sound design.
No, I thought. We could talk about that.
Anyway, back to My Hero. So, DeMarco said some other stuff, such as there was a weird thing where he said, hey, look, I see if you're concerned about this, but hey, the schedule is going to go through a lot of changes pretty soon.
Well, he also said, look, if you don't think this is the right move to put it at the end of the block, let us know. Your voice counts. And basically saying hey, remember when you guys complained about that one change?
Scheduling fucked up so bad we made them change it?
Right. He basically put it out there. He's like, hey, if you really are loud enough, they'll change it.
And since there's like both Attack on Titan and Sword Art ending pretty soon, they have opportunities to be like to not have to be like
commit.
Hey, we tried it for a few weeks and no.
Yeah,
I agree. I think that's likely. Yeah.
In fact, Attack on Titan ends the week before My Hero Academia, so
I'm gonna make a prediction. I think SAO gets replaced by Isekai Quartet.
no.
That's a pretty bold prediction.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say it's Mob Psycho's time. This time, Mob Psycho, season 2.
That's what we need. That's the adrenaline this block needs.
Also, some people were being like, they'll never get Funimation again. Funimation's in bed with Hulu completely now, and it's like, I think if that was the case, we wouldn't have gotten Attack on Titan recently.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, I think DeMarco would just come out and say that.
Well, he did kind of piss them off on Twitter.
Look, that's just brands snapping.
Okay, just for the record, for people who don't know what we're talking about, like DeMarco was having some kind of Twitter conversation with somebody, and his argument was something like, "You mean you don't have Crunchyroll or Hulu or anything? All you have is Funimation?" And then the Funimation official account tweeted back, and he's like, "Damn,
Ow.
like burn,
Yeah.
All I need is Cowboy Bebop.
I wonder how serious they were.
I think that's stupid brand shit on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, don't pay any attention to that crap.
I'm pretty sure Jason is friends with a lot of people at Funimation.
Jason
they work together too much.
He's not an idiot to burn a bridge on.
Well,
Twitter.
I've never met the guy, but he definitely is not. He's definitely someone who can be a little tact isn't something I give him high praise for, especially online.
But
he tends to say things that could get him in trouble quite often, and I think he just doesn't care.
I think he knows what sort of thing will get him in trouble and what sort of thing won't.
Yeah.
And so he'll we'll say, oh, that could get him in trouble. He probably knows, nah, it's not going to get me in trouble.
I think he would say things that a normal business person wouldn't say. Would
be
like, well, you shouldn't say that. He'll just say it anyway.
He's high up enough that he probably doesn't have to give much of a shit.
Also, if Funimation was truly mad, they wouldn't actually respond on Twitter.
Yeah, they'd send him a letter or call or something.
That's a good point. Yeah, I can kind of see the sort of public. Well, I don't know. Twitter's weird sometimes.
They prefer him to tie a beard for legal defense.
I'm sure the teenage intern who runs Funimation's social media account thinks that was hot fire, but
yeah, pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always weird when you see a big Twitter account for some big corporation say something that's really kind of what?
My new favorite image is that one with the giant spider crab shooting a smaller crab with laser beams and being like, "Silence, brand."
I mean, Funimation's not really that huge in the first place.
What do you mean?
I mean, they're the biggest dubbing company, but they never felt gigantic.
I think Viz is probably bigger just because of their manga licensing business.
I've never really thought about it, but I always kind of put Viz and Funimation kind of on the same pedestal. But I don't know. I never really thought about it.
I mean, like I said, Viz has that manga and book publishing arm.
I mean, Viz has Shonen Jump, so that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's Viz, Funimation, Aniplex, Sentai, if I had to guess.
And then even lower you have G Kids and
Discotheque.
Yeah.
Well, Discotheque is basically they're just kind of an outfit that rescues dead licenses.
Yeah.
And 4Kids is dead.
4Kids is off. Do they still have Pokemon? No, I don't think so.
No, I think that went over to 4Kids still has Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's still on TV for some reason, I think.
Wow.
You mean the new Yu-Gi-Oh seasons?
Let me look this up. Actually,
every new Yu-Gi-Oh protagonist just becomes just a pile of multicolored blades pointing in every direction.
Yeah,
I've never liked Yu-Gi-Oh.
What the hell is this? No, that's not it.
I've always thought the art in Yu-Gi-Oh is bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's not great, but
It's unique and memorable.
Best part of Yu-Gi-Oh is Dan Green.
Oh, they went into bankruptcy.
Who? 4Kids?
Yeah, 2017.
Okay, well,
hang on. Let me.
Nothing of value was lost.
Chapter 11.
That's what they get
Actually,
for
let's see
ruining
what
One Piece.
licenses.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm gonna say.
Retribution.
Yeah, no, they've lost everything. They're done.
Oh well.
Okay.
I mean, I guess the market for let's ruin kids anime doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah, no good.
I think what happened is that the market changed, and it's like people are okay now with just like
Also,
unfiltered anime.
Streaming.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that. But like, I'm just saying that like you don't need to like sugarcoat / Americanize your anime anymore. We don't need like instead of Luffy, the guy named Steve the pirate.
Mm-hmm.
Joey. It always shocked me when I would like, wait, he's not Joey Wheeler in Japan.
Nope.
Hey,
you guys
Brock,
ever see that
can I
clip?
have some jelly donut?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you guys ever see that clip of the fan-made clip of what Frankie would be like?
I knew
in
him.
4Kids.
They just would go, he's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is pretty cool.
No, it's not.
No,
I'd be fine with
it is.
that.
It is as a joke.
I mean, imagine the lines in like the Schwarzenegger Terminator voice.
That's what the video is I'm talking about.
I know that it would be hilarious.
It's funny, but it makes. If it was real, you would.
How does sites deliver Robo Frankie voice?
I don't remember.
It's the same voice. Also, man, they really haven't done any One Piece dubbing recently, huh?
Expect to see some news about that soon. I think somebody said that they're going to be working on.
I expect the reason is basically. I expect the reason is basically because they were like, okay, everyone stop. We're doing Dragon Ball Super.
Probably.
And also they got into like My Hero Academia and Silent Hill and all that.
They probably had to slow it down a bit. I mean, what are they up to again?
Off Toonami as
Punk Hazard?
Well, that's where
they finished
the next
Fishman
thing.
Island. The last thing they finished was Fishman Island.
Yeah. Oh, I actually have the Fishman Island ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, My Hero Academia. That's a bizarre.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like that does give me a twinge of fear that they've been told they won't be getting season 4.
I think it's just scheduling guys getting weird and being like, nobody cares when this shit airs. We'll just put it where we think it makes sense.
Also, yes, but if it's really a like, hey, this isn't bringing in enough ratings to justify the license, it's like, well, it's time for season 4, and it's like, no.
But like Mola said, like that doesn't seem to be that the numbers don't back that up.
I think if either side wasn't going to want My Hero on the block, it would be the Toonami side, though.
Yeah.
No, because Funimation could have made a deal with somebody else.
Can't really think of. I mean,
people were saying that they are putting people were like mentioning like a Hulu exclusivity deal, and I feel like why? First of all, Funimation, has their own streaming service that contains all of their dubs and subs. Unless Funimation.
No, look, listen. I think you're reading too much into it. Like, it's easy to assume that just because it's at the end of the block that nobody cares about it. But then they put 2 brand new shows at the end of the block. Like they just put Gundam there.
Gundam is there because that's the only place they would let that's like
that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
that's your like conspiracy theory. I don't think it really works that way. I really don't. I think it's more like the bean counters are going, hey, we need ratings at this hour. Let's put a big show there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think that's what it comes down to. They want to get people to stick around longer.
I think they wanted to have another Hunter x Hunter like anchor at the back of the block.
Yeah, something for the people like, oh, there's a dedicated fan base for this, and they'll show up.
You know what? That's a great point. Remember when Hunter x Hunter went to the back of the block? The same things happened already. I think it's the same thing. I think it's like we need an anchoring. We need like a big show at the back.
Well, Hunter x Hunter, I always thought was like that's just the natural state of long shows. Is they're not going to ever bring in new people the longer they go, so they inevitably fall back.
Yeah.
I mean, MHA is a long show.
Hunter x Hunter was always near the end, though.
Yeah.
Well, it started pretty high.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, about
and then it fell.
Yep. Oh,
well,
look
yeah,
who's here.
but it's like,
Seda!
Who's here?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Where are we?
We
Greg.
We have not even started talking about the block yet.
We were just finishing the news, so
Which is what? Food Wars?
Food Wars and My Hero Academia's move. And also, Jason said some stuff on the Adult Swim podcast about he's currently producing 6 anime.
Yeah.
Okay, we know one of them.
Black.
Well,
Blade Runner.
Blade.
If I remember correctly, he said 7. One of them being Blade Runner, so
Okay.
6 unknowns.
There's 6.
That is insane, and I can't believe that
Well,
all
I
of
think-
them would be new IP.
I think Big O season 3 is almost a lock.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I would also back up enormous trucks to get them, the Space Dandy guys, to make another season of Space Dandy,
Yes.
but that probably can't happen.
Right. The
Because
Big O season 3, I feel like, is 100% going to happen simply because they already funded season 2 in its entirety. Like, it was something that Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, they did on their own. Like, it was one of the first anime they actually funded.
I mean, they seem to have a good relationship with Production IG.
Yeah.
What if they said Standalone Complex Season 3?
That I could also
That would
see.
be awesome.
Because they also partially funded season 2 of that.
But isn't there a Ghost in the Shell Netflix anime coming?
Right. It's already
those
out.
are all different. That's all different stuff.
Well, I thought there was yet another Ghost in the Shell
There
anime
is
coming.
yet another Ghost in the Shell anime coming, but they're all separate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well,
it's
anyway,
like a
we can
different
speculate all day
continuity.
long. I guess the point is that there's at least 6 other shows we don't know about.
That's
Honestly, if they went back and gave IGPX another go, they could probably do a good job of it.
That's another license that they would completely own.
Yeah, I'm just thinking because season 1 was kind of boring, but season 2, that was pretty good. If that was season
2 was
1,
like, oh, duh, people want to see the mechs race.
Yeah.
I also think it's the knee-jerk, easy answer to just try to pick things that have been done before. I think it's very likely many of these shows are things we've never heard of.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm sure some of them are.
I'm sure some of them are. I just can't believe he's somehow funding 6 new IP.
Right.
At least one of them has to be a sequel to a thing.
6 new Watanabe shows.
Honestly, I feel like half of them are going to be sort of the safe kind of sequel things, and then the other half is going to be the weird shit.
Get ready for Bleach Blood War coming next year.
No,
I'll tell you what, that would be I think that'd be a big deal if they did that.
If they do Bleach, they have to change the ending so that everything from the Aizen fight to the very end of the series was all just Aizen's bad guy.
Yep.
They have to do that.
Or even like, hey, come in and write the actual ending you were always going to write.
Except for the chair. The chair's got to be real.
Yes, he's in the chair. The chair is his Bankai, and it created the illusion that they went through for like a year and a half, and nobody realized it. And they just warp all the way back to that point. Like 2 entire arcs are completely bullshit.
Seda, what are your thoughts on Food Wars?
I will watch it and see what happens.
Yep.
Sounds about right.
What do you think about My Hero's move?
I don't know. Like, I wonder if they're just My Hero doesn't have that many episodes left, like 6 or something like
7,
that.
by my count.
And maybe they just felt that they needed to burn it off at the end of the block. I mean, I know there's other shows ending, but I don't know. It's weird.
Let's see. We just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 7.
Maybe it's just, I know you guys have probably speculated all this a bunch already before I got here, but maybe it's just an attempt to try to get people to watch the whole block.
Yep, that's what these other guys came to.
So
That's what I've been saying for a few days now.
But yeah,
Well,
weird,
we'll see.
weird,
We'll see how it goes, I guess.
weird, interesting times. And hey, SAO is ending in 2 weeks, and that's definitely getting replaced, I think. So, you guys ready to talk about the block?
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of My Hero Academia,
My Hero Academia, episode 56, Rush, in all caps. And this episode, oh shit, there's no spots left to pass, and this fucking JoJo villain has turned several of the students into, like, horrifying meat globs. This guy's a hero?
Uh,
yeah, his
Well,
quirk is called Meatball.
you know, he hates them because they make them all heroes look bad.
Yep.
I can't believe
I have 2 comments. One, he has no control over what his quirk is.
I know.
He can be a heroic guy with an ugly quirk.
But also,
what-
he's sitting there saying, they can still feel pain in this form. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's a bad guy line.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Everything that comes out of this guy's mouth is he's a bad guy.
It's like
now-
Bakugo.
He's trying to restore the
Yes.
dignity of the hero profession.
Now, is his quirk also called meatball in Japanese, like the English word meatball, or is it some
I assume not.
Japanese word for meatball? I don't know. If they
I
have
don't think they're.
I'll look it up while we're
curious.
discussing it.
because the other ones, other quirks, I think you can, they maybe just you can just assume that it's a similar word in Japan or whatever. But like meatball is like, do they call them meatballs in Japan? Or they what's the similar thing? I don't know.
No, I
No,
think they're meatballs.
apparently in Japan his quirk is called Senku.
Is that okay? Is that just the
So-
Japanese word for meatball?
I assume, yes.
Maybe
Well-
maybe it means flesh. I don't know.
I was
Or
just
it's Senku, yeah.
Well,
I'll tell you what it means. Yeah.
the DTL squad won.
Hooray! All thanks to Kaminari got a gadget that means he can just not spew electricity everywhere and kill everyone.
Yeah. He can actually, kill only the one guy.
That seems like a good upgrade.
Yeah.
But will he ever use it again against some more interesting foe?
It seems kind of hard for him to use simply because he's stupid. But I mean, this is one of those series where that question is like, the answer is no because they're students.
Well, what I'm getting at is there's a lot of characters in the show, and Kaminari is
Right.
not really a main character, like not even like
No.
the tertiary.
Is
Like,
barely
Not even on the level of like
I mean, you
Momo
could
or
say
something.
that about pretty much everyone though, because
he is
there's like,
consistently in the top 10 character polls.
but I'm just wondering, is this his shining moment? Like, does it get any better than this?
I don't think he's done much more than that. Yeah.
I
At
think
This is
this
his
is it for
shining
him.
moment.
least until he's revealed to be the traitor and he kills several people. So
Yeah.
And then he's like,
Can you
Update.
imagine him just like doing a evil speech and then suddenly going into dumbass mode?
No, that's the thing. Everyone thinks he's gonna do the thing that everyone knows turns him into dumbass mode, and then he's gonna be like, "Just kidding, I was pretending."
Update.
So he's
the
just going to be that.
Senku
So-
means meat.
So wait,
Yeah.
he's just going to be that meme that's like, "Huh, I was pretending to be a dumbass."
You are all the
I was
dumbasses.
pretending to be stupid.
Nothing personnel, kid.
So yeah, they beat Meatball Dude, and then I guess they beat up on a bunch of other dudes who were just meatballs.
In the second
They make-
half, well, we saw that Midoriya, Tape Guy, and Ochako basically they won because Tape Guy, what's his name?
Sero.
Yeah, he I kind of missed it, but he somehow taped them all to the ground.
So
Chicago floated a bunch of rocks with this tape, and they taped them all down with the weight
I
of the
see.
rocks.
And then they basically just were like, boop, 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 now we win.
and then one guy was like, "Please, you have to let me win. This is my 3rd year," and Deku just shot him in the head.
And then they did make a point to point out the fact that and I had forgotten this happened, that Bakugo, he was like, He's like, you seem to be doing all right with that borrowed quirk.
Oh yeah.
Remember when Deku admitted that his quirk was given to him?
All the way back in like episode 6?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
they were so young back then.
So innocent.
so he clearly knows.
Or has his suspicions.
He's figured. He's been like, wait a minute.
I mean, obviously he doesn't know the specifics, but he's like, all right, something's unnatural here. I mean, more so than quirks are normally. It's an abnormal quirk. So the last part of the episode was Ida and Belly Button Guy, whose name I also forget.
His name is Aoyama.
Yeah.
I cannot stop twinkling.
So he was like having a crisis of confidence, and he's just like, go without me. And then Ida, being Mr. like stand up for everyone, is like, no, we're going through this together. It's my job as class representative.
And so they he tries to make a heroic sacrifice by just shooting a giant laser in the sky.
He was trying to be a distraction. I mean, I guess.
But then it turns out that he becomes the rallying point for the rest of the class, and they all win.
Yeah. And literally everybody in the class passed.
Yay!
On the plus side, Mineta's head bled, but on the downside, he passed.
Plus, Mineta was in pain. Negative. Oh.
And then like Eraserhead was like, I guess you did okay, Baka.
Eraserhead is so. Yeah,
he's tsundere about his class.
I forgot the term. Please revoke my anime license.
Maybe after the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. They can wait.
You still need me to dunk One Punch Man. Dragon Ball Super. Oh, before we go there. So the next test is they blew up the entire testing ground and now they have to rescue people. Cool.
Yes. All right. Whatever.
Stick around for 3:30 in the morning to find out.
Bakugo is doomed.
Yeah, Bakugo is just like, please help me. Shut up.
It's a good point.
Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super episode 117. Love's Big Showdown. The Androids versus Universe 2. In this episode, Ribrianne is revealed to not actually have a very loving personality.
I never would have guessed.
What?
A very distorted version of love.
Which basically comes down to, ew, Krillin looks weird.
He does. He has no nose.
In the manga version, she called 18 ugly and Krillin handsome.
What?
Really?
Oh, yeah. They did that thing where she was like, how did you get with a stud like him? And I'm kind of like, that is an interesting subversion of the whole thing, you know?
Now, the manga came out after the anime, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's just a flip from the usual. So
yeah, it's just that, like, it says more about their universe because it's like, oh, our ideas of beauty are completely different than yours.
Well, that's what I would expect because, like, Ribrianne turns from a very cute-looking girl into, like, basically Boo.
Yeah, I mean, she does look like female Majin Buu.
Yeah, and I guess that's supposed to make her more attractive.
Right.
I don't think she's particularly more attractive, but that's what their universe believes, so it makes sense.
But in the anime version, she
says that Krillin has no nose and he's an ugly bald guy.
Yeah,
well, he is.
And basically says like this isn't true love based purely on their appearances. Like she became villainous in her weird way.
Yeah.
Hey,
I never really liked their like whole like our power is love. Like the idea that like the general concept of like love being like key is kind of a neat idea. Like, you know, like the DBZ universe has all of the, you know, energy blasts and stuff, and they have love power. It's kind of a neat idea, but then like it doesn't really work the way love should work because she's doing it like being mean about it, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And well, 18 is the best Titan Slayer.
Yep. I can't I can't, man, just back to back. I can't believe she shot her in the face with a gun.
Can't believe Ribrianne is dead.
Can't.
A hole right in the middle, right between her eyes. But in some ways, I actually found this almost. It wasn't obviously as well produced, but like seeing 18 and 17 come in to kind of do this sort of teamwork little sequence in how they took her out. Like the fact that that this show is always about the Saiyans and always about Goku. The fact that even if it's just sort of the side character that probably ultimately doesn't matter, it's just kind of fun to see it. Like these other characters be successful against.
Actually,
17 has been a beast in this tournament.
Yeah.
And I think that there was a moment like right before they had the fight where like 17 was like helping 18 with her ankle because her ankle got hurt, and he's like, yeah, I've learned how to do this kind of medical stuff by being a park ranger or whatever the hell he does.
Yeah,
but it was nice. Like it was like a nice kind of brother sister bonding moment.
And she was like, "Oh, what about your kids?" He always brings up the park ranger stuff before his actual family.
Yeah,
and they brought up too, like his wish being that he wants to take his family on a cruise. That's his wish.
That's nice. Yeah. That's nice. 17, but trillions are dead.
Yes.
Just ask Bulma for a ship.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's not like she doesn't have a couple just laying around.
I think he's like, no, I can't ask. I won't ask for charity.
What charity?
But he will ask for. He will use the super Dragon Balls, the things that could like create and destroy universes, to get his family on a cruise ship.
The super dragon is like, I literally can't have no concept of things so small.
Yeah, I mean, the super dragon is probably like, here, I'll summon you the regular Dragon Balls and you can wish on those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered with this.
Yeah, also, dude, just get the regular Dragon Balls.
Yes. Like, this is your dream.
No, those are for Frieza.
Unless Dende is like, fucking cruise ship, I can't do that. Immortality? Yeah. Cruise ship? No.
Fucking Frieza.
I doubt the regular Dragon Balls could do like invincibility like Zamasu had.
I'll tell you the cringiest line in this episode though was when Ribian was being defeated, and I forget who did it, but somebody said, "Sorry to break your heart."
I think that is a 17 line.
Sounds like 17 to me.
Yeah.
It sounded more like, "Sorry to break your heart."
Yeah.
Because, God, they're so great with their total monotone at all times.
I love how cheesy 17 and 18 get in this tournament.
And it totally works because they're totally straight-faced.
Yeah, they're like the straight characters of this arc insofar as like everybody is kind of goofy and then these two are just serious all the time.
Except for Jiren.
Well, yeah.
Jiren is so straight, he's a block of cement.
Yeah, he's almost like non-person.
He's like, what if the sandbag from Smash Brothers actually fucked you up?
He probably would have watched the entire Ginyu Force dance and not even reacted at all.
No, he flexed and they died.
Honestly, I love the Ginyu Force dance. Those guys need to come back.
No, they don't.
Okay, you're right.
Ice cold.
Cold-blooded.
Also in this episode, Gohan and Piccolo are facing the Namekians from Universe 6. These guys seem like assholes. Is it is Universe 6? Oh, the Saiyans are nice, but the Namekians are total dicks.
Could be.
No, I think they're just under pressure.
Because I mean, like Piccolo is like, yeah. Now he's at this point where he's kind of like a weird, like a monk, basically.
He's a weird uncle.
The Namekians are like, asexual monk creatures. And these guys are like, yeah, we're going to pound them into dust. Blah, 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 blah. And then Vegeta's still fighting Kamen Rider.
Yes.
Oh, God.
He's trying to get him some Ultra Instinct in there.
Good luck with that, Vegeta. Maybe in 3 years.
Probably not.
Was it this episode that where Vegeta was like, "I'm going to try to go Ultra Instinct," or was that the?
That was
previous?
last episode. He was like, "I'm going to be the first one to truly master it," and it's like, no,
You
no.
can't even get it. No.
He just gave up. He was like, "Oh, whatever," and then he punched the guy.
I don't
Yeah,
even
he's
think
like-
I don't even think it's a spoiler to say he won't even go tiny ultra base Ultra Instinct at all.
Yeah, no.
Like
He literally can't be bothered.
He thinks too much.
Yeah. He's never been good at being a dumbass.
Yeah.
yeah, Ultra Instinct is literally that time Luffy just goes stupid and can dodge everything but doesn't attack.
Yeah, it's stupid Luffy. It's literally stupid Luffy.
This is the second universe in a row where they took out the most important character in it, and then it's like, and there's still some people left, and it's like, this doesn't seem to work on the correct.
Right. Part of the problem is they keep, spamming Goku fights for a stretch, and they never bother, cutting away until, and so it's like he should be resting, but instead we're gonna have him fight like 3 guys, all one after the other.
Like, I would like it a lot more if these fights had the extra drama of this is literally for all the marbles.
Yes.
It's better than the manga version where Berserk Kale off screen's like 4 universes.
I think that's pretty cool.
Honestly, what if she actually did that and this arc was way shorter?
That would be helpful.
Would it bring the show back quicker?
No. Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan episode 55. Midnight Sun. Oh, god damn it. Those assholes from Black Clover are showing up, huh?
Yep.
They show up and it's like, we are the eye of the Midnight Sun. And then fucking Card Titan runs over them. But yeah, in this episode, drama.
Lots of it.
You could say the most drama.
Yeah, I did not expect this to happen, and I was just on the edge of my seat.
It's a good episode.
Like, it was already extremely dramatic when they were just trying to be like, please give Armin the injection. And then this one random scout that didn't die is like, hey, I see you guys had some drama going on. What if I added to it in a big way?
Yeah.
I've managed to drag Erwin all the way here. Somehow.
Good job, guys.
I still say they should have brought Erwin back.
But
I'll tell you what, I was like 99% sure that Levi was going to revive Erwin, and then it didn't happen. And I was like, whoa.
I was 99% sure that no matter who he chose, they would just be like, no, the other guy.
Yeah.
Because that's absolutely what they would both do.
Yep.
I don't think Armin was in any condition to disagree, though.
Right.
Well, it's shown, and he would have been, it's like, these are my last words. Save Erwin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you this too. I never knew this. Like, sometimes you know things about the series when you don't watch it. You just kind of know things.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that Armin would become a Titan.
Honestly, it
Armin's the
doesn't really
colossal Titan now.
Yeah,
They-
it's kind
they
of
never
crazy to
use
think
it.
about.
they
That's some
never
nerdy
use it
irony
going
right
forward.
Well,
Never.
thanks for spoiling it, B-dubs.
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't know that.
They'll probably use it eventually.
Yeah, maybe.
I know that it actually is used once because, of course,
Oh.
Has to. I mean, they wouldn't introduce this whole plot point and never use it.
yeah, you can't make Armin the colossal Titan and then he never used it.
Right. Well, anyway,
I don't remember
it seems like a pretty big deal, and I never knew that was going to happen. So that's kind of the reason why I didn't think he was going to be the one. I thought, like, I was like, wow, makes more sense that Erwin would get it,
Yeah, he's more useful.
And then Connie comes in, dragging Sasha, and is like, she died! And everyone's like, sorry, Sasha, you're not that tier.
Get out of luck.
She just got knocked out. She's not dead.
She's
We
fine.
were out of potatoes anyway.
Shove a potato in her mouth. She'll be alive again.
She'll wake up.
Also, Rainer looks like a 55-year-old guy who's just refuses to admit that he's bald.
And he's had better days.
Reiner is the
Why did
wittiest
he look like
character.
that? I don't understand.
So they fucked him up with an explosion.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Reiner is the luckiest character in Attack on Titan.
Hey, he's still alive.
Yep.
You know who's not? Bertolt.
Yeah. Oh, we
got
got to
Nate.
see him get crushed between Armin's giant teeth.
Well,
And he went out like a total wimp.
Now, there is a part in this episode they found, or Reiner gave them a letter from Ymir to Historia, right?
Yes.
We don't know what it is.
Yep. Haven't seen it.
I mean, we're still at the point, like, if we're talking like larger storyline, we still don't really know these Titans, like what the faux Titans, the Beast Titan, Reiner and Bertolt, like exactly why they are doing any of this. We don't really know. Am I correct in that? Like, I didn't just miss something.
Well,
right?
I kind of
not
thought the only
exactly.
thing I know is that it seems like they're trying to get Eren because Eren has a special Titan ability.
Yeah.
He can control Titans. Well,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
Eren
Beast
can.
Titan could also do that. But he has
Oh.
something called the coordinate.
Mhm.
What?
Also, I just want to point out that next week's episode of next episode of Attack on Titan is literally titled "The Basement." So,
I mean, that makes sense. The base, they're in that region of the world now, and the Titans are gone, and they saved
Not
their
even in
planet.
that.
We
So
should
not
be
even that
learning a lot
region of the
about
world.
the
That's like right
history
fucking
of this
there.
stuff, right?
That's basically what I was getting at. Like, there's going to be some revelations, probably.
there is nothing standing between them in the basement now.
Right.
Hmm.
I mean, the fight is over.
They
I'm
saved
sure
their
that
friend. They
whatever that
decided-
guy's name, Zeke or something.
Yeah, he's gone.
I think they're leaving probably because they can't stick around.
He did say some cryptic stuff to Eren before he left.
Right. Yeah, he's like, your father. He said something like,
He did this to both of us.
yeah, like your father, like, is basically implying that his dad did not have the best intentions or had some sort of selfish motive or something. We don't really know.
Yeah.
Plot twist: Bertolt nuked the basement.
He stepped on it.
I kind of like the idea too. I mean, Bertolt's gone now, but I always liked this idea that like the most powerful Titan was in reality kind of a wimp, kind of a
And now it's Armin.
Yep.
yeah. I guess that's true. But the idea that Bert was never like a strong character.
Yeah,
He was
but
always weak.
it's like Bertolt was a huge guy, but you never knew he was there because he never said anything.
Yeah.
Well, when you think about it, they're Reiner and Bertolt and Annie. They're all about the same age as the protagonist, so they were like 11 or something when they caused all that crap.
Oh, that's true.
Yep, they were They were little small kids.
Well, actually, do we even know if it was him? It
Yeah.
could have been someone else with that power.
No, it was him.
Huh.
We know this for a fact.
This is a random question, but Annie's female Titan, does she have any like special abilities other than being? Because there are other women Titans that look like sort of like women. I don't know.
Remember there was Ymir, who
Ymir.
She has one of the special powers.
Like
All right.
Imp Titan.
Yeah,
I'm not saying like every special Titan has to have like some sort of special capability, but like I don't
I
know.
think
they
Annie
should,
just has
though.
like a super hardening or
Or just,
something.
Well, she had the hardening, but I think at this point,
They all
I guess
do.
it's understood that they all have that.
No, I mean like a super hardening. She was able to
Yeah,
like
she was like
turn her
I don't know
entire
that
body
anybody
into
else
like
can be
diamond.
I'm a crystal now.
Oh, see, I kind of just assumed that was the same thing that Aaron's been doing.
I don't know. I think maybe he may have written that before he decided they all had super duper special powers.
Hmm.
Maybe Annie's Titan form is just very, very capable physically.
Female Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the most
Yeah.
like physically capable because like it basically has perfect human proportions and
Mhm.
can run really far and that kind of stuff.
I was just
I wonder if
curious.
she'll ever show up again.
Gosh, I hope so. I liked her as a character. I mean,
You'd have to think before the end of the series. It's
Oh.
like, what happened to Annie? Oh, nothing.
we should mention
They
that-
announced.
Oh
the
yeah, they
final
announced the
season
final
has
season.
been announced.
The final season,
Not
Now-
by Studio Wit.
and it will air in fall season 2020. So that's October of next year.
Right.
I saw this announcement, but did they say who the studio was yet?
Nope, because it's
Nope.
not. No, it's not Wit.
And I
do
wonder if they're being so definitive that it's going to be the final season, will it follow the manga ending or will it just do its own ending?
Well, the manga's about to end.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, by the time they finish, it should have ended.
Yeah,
Okay.
in
Like-
fact, some people are even speculating that it could be like Brotherhood, where they almost end at the
No,
same
no.
time.
No, like the manga's literally a couple chapters away, I think.
Oh,
So you think it'll be over before they even start airing?
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure the manga is like 2 or 3 chapters away.
Also, I think they confirmed that the final season is going to be 2 cores.
It would need to be.
it'd
Yeah.
have to be 2 or 3, I would think. But yeah,
The rest of the
I think
content in the
you-
series.
You could probably do it to have good pacing with 2.
Yeah.
this series isn't as long as I thought. Then
Well, I
No,
remember hearing.
I mean, it's a monthly.
It's
Monthly.
monthly.
I remember when like the very first season was airing. When was that? 2015?
2012.
Yeah, something like that.
12? Wow. I remember when it was first airing, that there like the writer had mentioned that he had like an endpoint set in mind, and he wanted to basically balance like the
2013.
the popularity of everything, but also not just extending things for no reason. Like he had some plan in mind how he wanted things to go, and so yeah, he kind of, I think he had an idea where he wants to end it.
so basically the opposite of Kishimoto.
Yeah, I would just like keep
Well,
going.
no, I mean,
until you,
Kishi knew exactly where he was going to end it. He just couldn't get there in a good way.
No.
Like
I just remember there was discussion about when the show first got popular that
Yeah.
he was not going to use the popularity as an excuse to just extend things for no reason
That's cool.
to keep it
I
going.
appreciate that.
Well, I mean, look how long it took him to get to the basement. You could say it was extended.
There absolutely was extension.
I don't-
Yeah.
I think it was confirmed that he did. Like you said, yeah.
Maybe
I don't know. Maybe this is
I-
the thing people just made up, and then it became.
Well, there's a difference. Maybe what you're trying to say is that there's a difference between people who like have an ending and they're like, I'm gonna end it, versus those who are like, oh, my thing is popular, I'm just not gonna end it.
Right.
But when I think about what I've seen in the anime, has there been that much that's been like superfluous or extra that we can just like cut it out? I mean, there was a little bit with like going to see Connie's hometown, but that was partially introducing the fact that Titans are people.
Yeah.
And then there was
think
like
you
seeing like Sasha's hometown, but that was like not that much.
you could probably cut out the whole thing with the guys with the guns.
Kenny's background or
Yeah.
Levi's background.
Well,
Yeah,
that has
I-
the backstory about the path, like the mind wipe, and
Yeah, that tied into
I mean-
basically. Well, I guess we might know more with the revelations we'll see in the next episode.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that a different way.
And what I'm
You
getting at
know.
is, in my personal opinion, I don't think the show has very noticeably stretched itself to the point where it's detrimental.
I think the one time where people kind of thought, "Oh, come on," was when it was like, "And now the internal politics of the walls," and it's like, really?
Okay.
Right.
Then it ended
Yeah.
at a point where it's like, "Oh, this is also important to the whole mystery."
Right.
I
It-
feel like
it's just,
season 3 did a good job of making that like not as
right.
draggy.
I think like my big complaint would just be that they probably could have gotten to the basement earlier and just reshuffled, because it feels like it took way too long to get there.
I
You know,
disagree.
they're like,
But I
we're-
completely disagree with you.
Looking back on it, I wouldn't actually change much.
Well-
You know what? My opinion is I didn't really care about the basement anyway. I mean, I know it's important, but I only
Well,
know that because people tell me that.
well, I mean, the entire point of like half their character arcs is I want to get to that goddamn basement.
Yeah,
Oh, have
but
they
so
found
much
the One
cool.
Piece yet?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, that's a completely different thing.
I think the issue, the difference is the One Piece has always been the final
Right.
final destination. The basement is the thing
To
we
help
always
them
knew it was
get to
the
the
thing,
final destination.
when they get to the basement, then things really then the thing expands.
Right. It's sort of been like, oh, there's answers in the basement. They
We'll
just
learn the truth.
Well, I guess so much cool stuff has happened between now and then. I didn't care. Like, I'm curious to find out what's in the basement, but I haven't been like chomping at the bit about it. I've been more interested in seeing what's been going on, like with especially last season with the whole like revelations that happened then. I cared more about that.
The stuff that comes out of the basement is kind of divisive, I feel.
Yeah, either it's everything following the basement is either you absolutely love everything about it, or you're like, it's not that great.
I thought this episode was pretty good.
It was.
Yeah, no.
I did. I have to admit, I did think at some during the whole drama, I was like, okay, this is a bit like over dramatic. Like something about it was just like, oh, of course.
Maybe it was Bryce.
No, it was just the whole situation where it's like, oh no, we only have one syringe and two people who are done. And it's like,
Of course.
It felt a bit too clean dramatic.
Yeah.
I felt that the characters responded appropriately.
I think like a more Attack on Titan way to do it would have been they use it, and then like he gets there with Erwin dying, and it's like, please give him the O.
I kind of feel like it coincidentally being the two you would have a big argument about. It's kind of a.
Oh, it's like, do we save the older Strategian or the younger Strategian?
Yeah. I mean, but again, like I felt like I liked that none of the characters were completely one-sided. Like even Mikasa and Eren were like,
right.
yeah, but they're like, you're right, but and I kind of like that. It felt authentic.
And then, first of all, I will say, for the most part, I thought the performances in this episode were pretty good. Like when Eren, I think Bryce as Eren has had some issues in the past, just where he doesn't like with Batman voice or whatever. But like he actually, when he sounded like he was pleading for Armin's life, he sounded like he was pleading for Armin's life, and it was believable. But then we have that one guy show up, that random dude. Which, first of all, I kind of actually appreciate that they just pick some random guy, so it's not maybe that's maybe on the opposite end.
It wasn't.
That's on the opposite end where it's not so clean. Where it
wasn't the former MP.
It wasn't just the important named people who survived. There was this one other guy who survived too. But his argument was like, we need a devil to lead us or whatever. It's just like making a case for Armin.
Right.
It's like,
and it's also cool too because like this guy survived that charge, and it was like Erwin was like basically he convinced this guy to ride to his death. And it's like you can tell you don't even have to be told that this guy is 100% in with Erwin, being like, this guy's amazing.
I also kind of appreciate that he just started speaking up and just like giving his opinion like proudly, rather than a lot of side characters and background characters that don't contribute. Just like, hey, I have something to say here.
And nobody turned to him and like, who are you? Shut up.
Yeah,
it's like I'm literally the last scout.
Yeah, it was a great episode. Like probably the most dramatic episode of the series I've seen.
Oh yeah.
So, you guys ready to talk about Promised Neverland?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh boy, here we go. The Promised Neverland, episode 12, 150146. In this episode, The Promised Neverland has turned 12 and now it's getting shipped out. Thanks, Metatron. That was a great line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In this episode, they do it. They escape.
They got out.
Phil!
I'm sorry I judged you, Phil.
Yeah. I demand apologies.
I think
I never doubted him.
I think on last week's podcast, I said, I bet Phil is just, he's going to just say, like, Mommy, what are they doing? But he was in on it the whole time. I did not expect that.
Well, half the time.
That son of a bitch, Phil.
B-dubs.
What?
So you're sorry.
You need to apologize to Phil. He was the savior.
In a good
Phil the
way.
God.
In a good way.
Give him your prayers.
So before I forget, one part about this episode that I really liked, and you have to be careful with how this was done, was when they were showing the montage of how they were training for this like escape, and they were playing it basically like piecemeal side by side next to the actual escape.
It's
Like,
good.
Like I feel like you got to be careful when you're showing those sorts of flashbacks. Like you can tell in some stories they sort of like introduce something that supposedly happened episodes ago, but they introduce that right when it's the storyline needs it to happen, and
Right.
it feels cheap or tacked on, or like clearly this wasn't thought out. They just introducing a flashback here to make it seem like it was, but here it was very obvious that this was planned out, and we as an audience just weren't privy to this information other than some quick clips that C. Kohler showed in the thread that basically showed that these kids were training for this and preparing for this and knew about it the whole time.
This
And
being my second viewing of this series, I did notice last episode one shot of the kids running past with a coat hanger, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I really like how they played with the expectation of the audience, knowing what the protagonist knows. So when we don't know everything yet, knows it's a surprise.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like the way the show it uses its storytelling to trick the viewer, because what was really happening is that they were tricking Isabella
and Ray.
Right.
Ray too.
and Ray. Yeah.
So the perspective that we have, because there are a couple of main characters that we sort of follow, it's basically utilizing that where if there was only one character, like if it was just Emma, it would maybe be a little bit less believable if she knew something that we didn't or something. But the fact that there's like this handful of characters that we're seeing the perspectives of, Ray and sometimes Isabella and Emma, of course, we don't always get to know exactly what certain characters might know, and I think it's playing to that really well. It's my opinion.
Yeah.
Somebody in the thread said this too, and I kind of agree, is that like one of the really satisfying parts of this episode is that Ray is basically the audience surrogate.
Yes.
Because he didn't know anything about what was
Right.
going on, and he was having the same reactions we were of being like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love these kids.
These kids are good. Please don't get eaten.
And
So
the
talk about
other,
Isabel.
yeah, that's the other thing to talk about. And I thought it was pretty clear 2 or 3 episodes ago when it basically was revealed to us that Emma had the choice to become a mom. Like at that point, I felt it was pretty clear that's the choice Isabella made. When she
Right.
was young, is
Yeah.
she was in the same position as Emma, and she made the choice to survive and become a mom. And you can't like really blame her too much for that if she was not knowing anything about it. It's like, and you're in that position where everything feels hopeless, and that's your only option. Isabella did what she told Emma was she gave up, and she's like, so I'm going that was the choice she made. And so this episode, when we finally get to see more of her past, like it didn't come as a like out of nowhere like surprise like to me, and
Yeah.
I felt that was so. What I'm getting at is I think it's pretty clear that Isabella is not just this villainous lady running this orphanage. Like she's a character that has reasons for doing what she did.
She's a victim of the system that has been completely indoctrinated into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Because
also,
she thinks there's no escape, and that the best thing she can do is give these kids a good life for as long as they have.
Mhm.
yeah, like the thing that the real twist with Isabella is that she really does love the kids. It's just
Yep.
that she doesn't believe they can escape.
And
So
then the
Right.
second they do, she's like,
Well,
she's just the moment
Yeah.
that they succeed, she's like,
guess
God
I was
damn.
wrong.
was wrong. I didn't know this could happen.
Yeah. Honestly, if I feel like if she knew they could escape, probably would have helped them, but before.
It's hard to say. Because
Uh,
ultimately, what we do learn in this episode too is that Isabella also had her own personal goal,
Right.
which was to live as long as possible.
Right.
yeah,
But at the
Isabella
same-
was ultimately a very selfish character.
Right. But at the same time, escaping would give her.
Well,
You
she
know.
had no choice to escape. Don't forget, she had a
Right.
bomb planted in her.
Oh,
There was
right,
no
yes.
escape for her.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So,
But it
she
would have
was
been
too
weird
late.
because I think she would have wanted Ray to go on. to a degree.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think that's part of why Ray was such a blind spot for her.
Yeah.
That's part of why they were able to, because she had no idea at first that Ray was hers.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
by the way, Ray's her actual kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, the we learned in this episode that the lullaby that she's been humming the whole series,
Sung,
which
yeah.
she hums in the very first episode, is a song that she learned from a child who got stripped away that she loved. And so basically she is keeping the memory of this kid alive by humming this song, and she also uses this to comfort herself because she knows what she's doing is wrong,
Right.
but she feels like she has to do it. And so she hums this song all the time. She also hummed this song when she was pregnant. And hey, you know what? He never had infantile amnesia.
That's
So
the
he
only.
knew the song. By the way, I don't know if you realized this, but in the previous episode, Ray was humming the song too when he was in the library
Yeah.
Yep.
or in
Ray.
the dining hall. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this entire thing wouldn't have happened if Ray didn't luck out.
What do you mean?
Like I don't think Emma and Norman would have figured it out in time to
Yeah,
get around
because
all this stuff.
Ray set it up. Ray made sure that the bunny was left behind.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's like, literally none of this would have happened if you hadn't gotten a child with little. I remember being a fetus.
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of like the perfect scenario. We also saw a young Isabella try to escape in this during her flashback, because she wanted to chase after Leslie, and that's when she learned about the ravine or whatever, the cliff.
The interesting thing about this whole thing is that it makes it so like the sequence of events we see is that Leslie gets shipped out. She runs to the wall and gets up to the top, sees the ravine, goes back, and then we cut to her like being also shipped out, and then she has like this expression that makes me think like she maybe didn't know about the demon. Like it's
Yeah, I thought about this some more after watching it the second time, and I think it's pretty clear to me now that she didn't know about the demons. She didn't.
Yeah.
She only knew about the fact that there was no escape. And when she was at the gate and she saw the demon, she was like, kind of scared and frightened because she'd never seen that before. But then the grandma hold out her hand, and what I love in that moment is there's this shot of Isabella's face, and you can just sort of see her like make a decision in that moment where she's like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to live. I'm going to live, and I'm going to not stop living. And then she's like reaches out her hand.
I really like this shot when she hears Ray singing the song, and she's like,
Oh
well.
Yeah.
So when she learns, she and we, the audience, learn that Ray is her son.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think that was that more used to sort of just put a bow on the things that have been explained so far, or do you think there's going to be more that comes from that?
I don't want to say one way or the other.
I think it was more to like
because basically learning that fact that Ray is her son, I think is sort of like a finishing touch on sort of putting all the pieces together on how all this came to happen. In the first place.
It's ultimately a denouement of this. Yep, this is Isabella's character.
Yeah.
But like I was wondering like if anything more could come from that revelation, or if there's anything that could come from that. I don't know.
Well, here's the interesting thing.
I don't think there's anything you can say here, Grex, because I don't want to give you any.
I don't know that.
I don't want to give you any like thought that something could happen when it doesn't. But I also don't want to give anything away that if it does.
I think it's unclear if anything more will come of this.
And I saw there's some speculation now, like I don't know if anything's really been hinted at this other than just common sense, but that so if the moms are having children, they have to get the eggs fertilized somehow. So they need people to do that, presumably.
I can give you some information that was in the manga.
That Norman was not killed and was instead saved for that reason. Maybe.
That is super duper dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. I can give. There was a panel that wasn't shown in the anime that explains how Isabella got pregnant. If you'd like, I can tell you that. It's not really
Is it
spoilery.
from the manga version of this arc?
Yes.
Okay, give it to
All
me.
right.
It was artificial insemination.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Um,
not sex, but how do they get sperm?
Well, that remains to be seen.
That'll be explained later.
But yeah, she wasn't knocked up. It was
Right.
done in laboratory style. Yeah.
Okay.
But and it makes perfect sense when you think about it. What is the goal of Gracefield? The goal is to raise children who are super smart, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You've got moms who are kids who were born super smart, get
And
super
in fact,
smart.
the smartest because they figured it out.
Right. They're the
like either they
smartest.
figured it out or they were nominated.
They were nominated, right? And so the very best moms are the ones giving birth to the smartest kids. It's like a cycle of smart, and that's why kids like Phil, who are like 4 years old, are super observant and smart.
Yeah.
They're all
Yeah.
smart at Gracefield.
I think the big
It's genetically meant to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure every kid in that house has above average IQ at least.
Even Don, who doesn't seem smart, is pretty smart.
Hey, without Don,
So
they
basically,
would have thrown the rope or the whatever it is, the yard.
so basically, what you're saying is that this is basically eugenics heroes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
like
basically
200.
This is GMO kids.
This is This is Crusader Kings 2.
This is just Fire Emblem.
eugenics simulator.
Speaking of the Isabella flashback, that was an extra chapter in the manga, wasn't it? Wasn't actually part of the arc, was it?
Yes,
Somebody
they did
said that. I
expand a
didn't
bit.
know that because I read it afterwards, and it was just it seemed like just a normal chapter. But I guess maybe it was added when the volume was released. I don't know for sure.
I think I might get this arc in the manga physically. I think I might get it.
A couple of other little manga things I can give you because again, it happened. It was just not in the show. A couple of little weird things. Like one thing was that Leslie actually didn't play the ukulele; he just sung. He sung the song, so that was just one minor change. Although I think for the anime,
they should have changed it. He should have played the didgeridoo.
Well, having him play it on the instrument though was really cool.
And being able to like fit that into like the actual the anime's original soundtrack.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because like you never hear the music when you're reading it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, and then there was again the only knock I can have against this episode because I think it's brilliant is that when you read the manga in that chapter where we see Isabella's flashback, she has a monologue that isn't in the show. And I don't want to give too much away if you want to read it, but she does say some things that really kind of helps illuminate her character even a little further.
Well, give it to me straight, because they're never going to go back and add it back in.
So, like, I don't remember everything, but I just remember her saying, she was saying to herself, like, you know, I loved Leslie, and I loved my house when I was a kid, and now I'm in this situation, and all I can do is take the love that's inside me and put it into these kids. And it just kind of redeems her character because she's basically saying like this is a shit situation I'm in, but I'm never going to let the demons have me. That's going to be my promise. I'm not going to let Leslie die in vain. And any love that I have inside of me, I'm going to give it to these children.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's even without that monologue, I think it was pretty clear the way the anime showed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that monologue seems like a nice thing. But Isabella is a tragic.
I totally got that.
She was not maybe like as I guess. Sometimes what do they call Emma? Sometimes she's reckless,
naive.
And maybe Isabella was not reckless enough to even consider that she can just escape from all of this.
Right.
Yeah. Somebody said it. Maybe it was you. Seda, I forget who said it in a thread, but somebody said that like Isabella is what Emma was if she just gave up, or accepted defeat or whatever.
Isabella
that's kind of it.
Isabella didn't have shonen protagonist powers.
Well, she didn't. Well, she didn't have a lot. She didn't have a Ray and Norman. In fact, her Norman left.
Yeah.
You know,
I think Ray was really the.
She probably what she the thing is she probably was
Changed
would have
everything.
been the Ray.
She seemed more like Emma when she was younger.
Well, I mentioned I very briefly mentioned in the thread,
Or she's
Emma.
Emma with too much Ray.
I mentioned in the thread Emma/Norman or whatever, because it's obviously we don't want to say that she's exactly the same as Emma, because if she was, she would have also escaped. Maybe
She would
But
never have given up. Yeah.
that I think that's the one thing that sets Emma apart, is that she is a little bit reckless, which she needed to be.
Hmm.
Did any of you think that Norman was there?
I was confused for a moment. Like, wait a minute, that wouldn't make sense. But
I was only confused when I saw it the first time because he said, "We fooled you,"
Right.
and I was like,
Okay.
"You mean fooled you insofar as making you think I was dead?"
Yeah, Norman's like, didn't you know there was a cloning machine in the basement?
But then it didn't make sense. It was like, why would he be not ready to go and blah blah blah? Yeah.
It's clear both Emma and Norman don't have 100% sanity.
So, before we review and rank before we review and rank Promise Neverland, we agreed last week that we need to deal with an issue. And that issue is called One Punch Man. We've had this thing come up very many times where it's like, well, the show is better than One Punch Man, but it's clearly not better than Black Lagoon. So this gets weird, and we've come to the decision that we have to re-rank One Punch Man. I wish I don't really like doing this. I always thought I was going to be like, oh wait, we'll rank it when a new season ends, or like when it comes next 5 years.
Right.
But we have to do it because it has just gotten so weird.
Mhm.
So
first of all, let me just say I do like how our rankings are, in a sense, we rank shows in the immediate aftermath. Like, we don't give them a whole lot of time to digest, if you will, or see how they hold up over time. And that we do like to rank shows and basically saying these were our immediate thoughts as soon as it finished. But One Punch Man is one of those shows where it just kind of feels like maybe we were caught a little too much into just the spectacle of it all.
Right, because it's a really gorgeous show, and the final episode is super ultra fucking hype.
Yeah, it's basically a hype generator show.
And so we've determined that it has to be re-ranked. So
no, we've never done this for any other show, right?
Never.
No.
Sort of executive.
Well, the only thing we did is that we decided that both Samurai Jack and Samurai Jack season 5 should be moved into one thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right, that was about it.
Otherwise, okay.
So, just like last week, I'm going to ask all of you guys to.
Oh, I gotta.
Yep. So take a bit to look at the list, determine where you would move One Punch Man to.
No,
Don't give me your ranking yet. Keep it to yourself until I say so.
Hang on. You got Discord open. I'm on my phone again.
Yep.
Hang on. There you go.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, no, I already got it. I just need.
Well, I just sent it to you.
All right.
Seda, do you need it?
No, I can. I just need to decide where I want to put it.
Okay.
I have the spreadsheet. Yeah.
I've decided where I want to put it.
I've basically decided where I'm going to put it too.
Yeah, I think I know.
I think this is going to be all over the place. Let's see what
Yeah.
happens.
I don't think it's going to be that crazy.
Maybe I'm just thinking of a last second thing. Yeah.
We're going to discuss it.
All right. I'm going to throw a number out there. All right. Everyone type it into chat, but don't click enter yet.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a countdown.
All right. Has everyone typed their number into chat?
Ready?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So the count is.
The highest.
Sorry.
Well, Seda.
What did Seda have it?
Seda has it. The highest is Seda at 14. So moving in below Ghost in the Shell and above Samurai Jack.
That's not much higher than what I had it.
Then Morlus has it at 15, so below Samurai Jack. Meedubs has it at 16, so between Stardust Crusaders and Phantom Blood.
Right.
I have it at 17, so below all JoJo's. And then Seacaller has it at 18, below Soul Eater. Man, we just decided it.
It's in that range.
We have a straight.
So
between 14 and 18.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
So we've been. It kind of feels like we're shitting on One Punch Man. We're not. I still think it's a really solid, great show that does exactly what it sets out to do.
Yeah, it's very rewatchable, but I think the impact is a little bit less after subsequent viewings.
Like, it's the kind of show that relies almost entirely on its action sequences and, like the huge spectacle of it.
I also think the comedy is pretty good.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's a kind of deconstruction of the hero genre. And that's probably the deepest thing it's got going for it. It's like this idea. It's like, what if we had a protagonist who didn't care? Right?
It's
a
kind of
superhero
like,
who didn't want to be was bored. That's like the whole hook.
Yeah, it's like, what if the character, the superpower you came up with when you were 6 actually existed?
Yeah.
So much so that, like, what you think would be the most awesome thing in the world actually makes your life boring.
Right.
So that's like that's as deep as the show goes. Outside of that, it's just awesome animation, some pretty hype moments, cool fights, and some cool music, and that's about it.
Great OP.
Yeah,
fantastic
great OP.
Bizarre ending.
Yeah.
Remember that?
The ending is, look, anime just does that. I liked that one. That I saw that tweet recently where it's like anime OP, it's like Kermit with a gun, and then anime ED is like Kermit looking pensively out the window.
That's about right.
Every anime ever.
Yeah.
The final episode was, like super exciting and cool.
One of the best animated sequences I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a Dragon Ball fight look that good.
No, I mean the final fight in the series
the Broly
is just
movie, probably not.
No, I mean it's better than the Broly movie.
Not that this needs to be said, but I gave it the highest ranking in this vote here, and that most that predicates on like the show's qualities, like its animation and its production and its spectacle. It's a popcorn show, so and that's what it sets out to do. So it's like not necessarily trying to be.
It's
like I don't know. Like, do you? Like, it's not really a character centric show. There's not any, like, you wouldn't really like say like
the best character in
these characters. Like the best character that people love is Moomin Rider, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's like the most normal character.
I mean, Genos is kind of interesting in the fact that he's like supposed to be like as a hero, this super cool badass dude, but really he's just like this newbie, uncertain,
complete doofus.
Always looking for a validation sort of guy.
He's Vegeta to the extreme in terms of jobbing.
Yeah.
But not in terms of like personality at all. He underestimates himself in a way.
There are characters I like in this series, and there are characters I don't like in this series.
Puri Prisoner is a problem.
Yeah.
He needs to go away.
His one brief sequence in season 2 was very bad.
And also, I didn't really like Super Sonic or whatever his name was.
Sonic also sucks as a rival.
Yeah, he's just annoying.
I mean, they're doing something kind of interesting with him in the webcomic right now, but yeah.
Shoulder Blade Crush is better.
It's the same character.
So let's start up at the top here with so Seda, you're thinking it's not as good as Ghost in the Shell,
but better than Samurai
I'm the only
Jack.
one who had it higher than Samurai Jack.
I think Samurai Jack is absolutely better than One Punch Man overall.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like Samurai Jack does more artsy stuff with it. With its animation, it's not just sort of the Flash
And it's got a
and
bit
the
more
bang.
character exploration too.
It's definitely a
Right.
better story over, like, even if the ending is like kind of basic. I think the story wise and even individual stories better.
Right.
I would also say at the other end that I think it is definitely. I think One Punch Man is definitely better than Soul Eater.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Especially when you include the
Ending
the
of
latter
Soul
half
Eater.
of Soul Eater.
If Soul
Mhm.
Eater had followed the manga completely, it'd probably be a few spots higher.
Like the first 32 episodes or whatever, Soul Eater are like really good for just a shonen series. And
Funny,
then,
but just as an aside, that's exactly the number of episodes before they went off canon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, it's
I
almost
knew
like
it's something.
you can tell the exact point.
I knew it was something around that.
Wow, it's
Yeah.
holy shit. I wonder if they ran out of manga.
But that it's like Soul Eater. That's the one crutch holding it back is just that last 10 episodes or 15 episodes or however many it was.
Right.
It's like,
The last
So-
season or two.
I will say that, sorry, Morless, or no, it was B-Dubs who put it at 16. I don't think that One Punch Man is better than Phantom Blood. But
No. I'm saying it sort of. I was kind of saying it goes between Phantom Blood and Soul Eater.
oh well, if you put it at 16, that means it's.
Oh,
bumping.
right.
so you would have put it at 17.
Yeah. Sorry.
I think One Punch Man is better than both Stardust Crusaders and Phantom Blood.
You
I
think?
don't know about.
So Stardust Crusaders is a Monster of the Week sort of show mostly
Yeah.
until the
Honestly, I
end.
like Phantom Blood more than Stardust Crusaders.
We are not talking about that.
No,
Yeah.
no, we're not.
That debate is settled.
Another executive decision while we're in the middle of one. No.
I mean, I can't put a One Punch Man above it of Stardust because of Dio.
The thing with Stardust is that I think there's a lot of filler, and One Punch Man is a very not filler, but
it's very lean.
One
but
Punch
I
Man
think-
is so tight.
It
in that
is,
first season.
but I think Dio alone elevates Stardust Crusaders and Phantom Blood over One Punch Man because neither one have the sort of villain that has sort of the gravitas that he does.
But Dio spends
I mean,
most
even,
of Stardust Crusaders doing nothing.
I know, but
Being sexy.
he's literally the only reason that series works. Like, if you took him out and replaced him with another villain, that series falls apart on itself.
I still say
That's not high praise.
I still
No,
say
it's
that
not. That's why I
Stardust
say it's too high.
I still say that Stardust Crusaders is better because Dio they wait until the very end for them to actually confront Dio. Like, I think it's a good decision that they didn't like cheap out because it's like it would like ruin the bit of the build up. Like
Right.
when Polnareff finally faces him on the stairs, it's like, dude,
Oh,
shit,
shit.
finally, oh my god.
Yeah. No, what I'm sort of saying is that One Punch Man doesn't have a character sort of on that level. You know, it's got those set pieces and stuff down, the sort of crazy fight scenes that Stardust Crusaders and Phantom Blood have, but it doesn't have that sort of Dio in there.
Part of the reason why I feel like Stardust is better is because it's got more variety in the conflicts, I think.
Hmm.
Better
And
than
I think-
One Punch Man?
I mean the animation is better and the actual fighting's better in One Punch Man, but like
Oh, I
the
can't agree with
conflicts
that.
are
I
different.
think that if there's one thing that
No, I
if
know
there's
what
one
you're
thing
saying.
that One Punch Man does well
if
is
you
fight
said
choreography.
so that means it would be between Sam Jack and Stardust. So did you
I meant-
actually want?
I meant between the JoJo's.
Okay, I think we need to actually like.
Okay.
I think we may need to retype some of these.
No, let's just take a vote. I mean, I think we're all in agreement that it's either going to be. I can't
Above
get the
Phantom
numbers
Blood
right,
or
but it's
below
either going to
Phantom
be
Blood?
15 or 16.
Yes.
So
It's either
nobody
going to be above Stardust Crusaders or below it.
Unless
mean-
someone wants to argue that Phantom Blood is better than One Punch Man.
I mean, Dio is a
Yeah. I mean, Dio and I think Phantom Blood's actually tighter than One Punch Man.
I would say one thing that I this is a personal thing, but I don't have any interest in rewatching JoJo, but I would rewatch One Punch Man.
It is short.
I would rewatch.
It's also really
Phantom
compelling.
Blood, but
Like it's
not
actually like really
Stardust.
well made.
Like
Phantom Blood's,
there's
what, 10
specific
episodes or something?
episodes of One Punch Man that I'll rewatch, but I'm not sure I'd do the entire thing.
I feel like I could watch the final fight from
yeah.
the final episode. I feel like I could watch like most of the action from that final sequence and be satisfied.
Yeah. Well, like there's certain episodes I feel like I'd watch that again.
And I think that most of the build-up, like I think a lot of One Punch Man is the great build-up to to that final blow. But I don't know that I'd ever watch the build-up again.
Well, let's do this so that we don't just keep going in circles. Why don't we everybody type in 15, 16, or 17?
Why don't we say, all right. So
now that we know that it's one of those three.
So
basically
15.
we're cutting. Sorry.
Say
15
again.
We're cutting off my vote, which is the highest, and Chris's vote, which is the lowest, and we're picking from between 3 spots now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Either
I
it's
guess.
above both JoJo's, between them, or below.
Right.
Okay.
And we're allowing people to change their mind after discussion. So
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I may have actually changed my mind about which.
I think that's that's the point of the discussion.
right, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
type it in and let's
All
see.
right. All right. Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Wait, are we posting now?
Yes.
You didn't do a
Yeah.
countdown.
I forgot. I'm sorry.
2, 1, go.
This isn't as dramatic. Okay, so we've got B-Dubs and me at 17, so below both JoJo's.
Mhm.
Morlis and Seda say between JoJo's,
And now
and then
Chris is the
Seacoler
highest.
is above both.
God damn it.
Yeah.
We solved nothing.
All right.
All we did was rearrange who was where.
Okay.
Seacoler gets to decide.
Well, Seacoler as the only, I think he's the only one who has it above both.
Yeah.
I think.
All right. I think I do not have a fondness for Phantom Blood. Like
Well-
I remember Phantom Blood being my first introduction to JoJo and being kind of like intrigued. And the last half of it was pretty good. But I think again, I just feel like One Punch Man is just like it's just a pure show. Like there's no like negative to it. I just like it. So I would put it between.
Okay.
I'd
Let's
put
do
it at
that.
16.
That's 16.
16, yeah.
Morlis?
16.
I
Well,
think
it
what I
looks-
give Stardust Crusaders over One Punch Man is it's maybe a little bit more creative in terms of like abilities and powers and things. Like that's what JoJo does well, even if it's not as well animated and not as tight.
And Jotaro is kind of like a Saitama in a way.
Okay, so I think we decided 16, which would basically be the midpoint of where we had it from our original vote. So
Yeah.
It's like right in the middle.
yeah.
So,
Well, although now it's going to move, so it's going to actually be a different number.
It's
because
actually-
we're taking
well,
it out
hey,
at the top.
it's weird. It's
Right.
weird that it would be like, okay, first take One Punch Man out of the list,
We
then
should
look
have
at the
done
list.
that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, take it out, and
It's-
that will make it the new number 15.
New number
Right.
15, actually. Ignore the numbers we were talking about before.
Yes.
Those are
but-
wrong.
And now it's about to change again.
One Punch Man is now number 15 between Stardust Crusaders and Phantom Blood. And congratulations to Diamond is Unbreakable, taking its rightful spot in the top 10.
Black
For
Lagoon number
For
9.
now.
For now.
Yes.
So,
Black Lagoon moving up.
Promise Neverland. We need to review this show.
So
We
now
reviewed it already, didn't we?
sort of-
Or-
Yeah.
we talked a lot about the last episode and leading up to it. We didn't really talk about the series as a whole, but the way the series works, you kind of have it builds on itself.
This
Yeah.
rewatch, again, improved at opposite to Megalobox, where I rewatched it and thought, wait, this is actually bad. I was wrong for thinking this was good before. This, I went from being a bit disappointed in to, actually, you know what? This is still pretty good. This is pretty good.
It's great.
But I do still have some of the same problems I had. I think the parts where they decided, you know what, we're not going to have internal monologue, led to some weird situations where, like, for example, this whole final escape sequence, they do have this like immaculate setup for that clashes with earlier where it's like, Emma, please don't say that stuff out loud while Gilda is standing right next to you.
Well, she wasn't really being very loud in that scene.
It's just that we definitely had this discussion. It just feels weird. And especially now knowing that Crone saying stuff out loud did matter a lot.
Well, they were listening at the door.
But also Phil, like, she was yelling it out in the middle of the forest and Phil was there. She didn't think Phil would know what to do with that information, but she was wrong.
Right.
Yeah, you kind of assume that a 4-year-old wouldn't really understand.
But it's just a situation where it's like, okay, internal monologue is good sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're getting at is when characters are speaking out loud, because the anime makes it so that they're always doing this, sometimes they have to choose when someone overhears a conversation is important and when it's not.
Yes.
Right.
Because in the anime or in the manga, if it's spoken out loud, it's almost a clue that someone might be listening. Or here, you're just going to have to.
I kind of feel like Ray being this Isabella's spy kind of alleviates that a little bit.
I agree.
Again,
I think you guys place too much importance on people hearing things when ultimately it didn't matter.
Isabella didn't really need to listen into them.
It ultimately did.
Had a mole.
It ultimately didn't matter.
At the time,
but
it did.
It could have. At the time you're watching it, you feel like this could totally matter. What are you doing?
Right.
This is the type of show that I think improves on rewatch, though.
Yeah. The thing that doesn't improve on rewatch, I think this is still a very bad thing, is the things they did with Crone. Are the most like way out there. Like, they decided we're gonna have her just dance around in a room and yell loudly to a doll that she doesn't have in the manga.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man.
She's almost the same except a little bit more out there.
I think not to harp on this, but like we were just showing a lot of praise for like the show for like its final episodes and how that was all handled.
Yeah, how Isabella is such a great nuanced character, and then over here is Crone.
I don't want to just sound like that we're just like shitting on it now. We're just trying to consider.
I mean, I don't think Crone.
I mean, we're nitpicking what we can. I'm sorry. I was going to say we're basically at this point. Let's talk about the things what few things we didn't like about it. We'll get that out of the way, and then we already know what we love about it, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would agree to a certain extent that I wasn't as. That's probably my biggest gripe with the series is I didn't think that the way Crone was portrayed in the anime was as menacing as what I had saw later in the manga. So I could see that as a step down.
They kind of make Crone feel like less threatening because it's like, this person is an idiot.
I think one of the big things about this is like the manga version had the luxury to go super detailed and exaggerated, whereas the anime version can't really do that because they gotta move.
Right. But I mean, that still doesn't matter in the case of why is the doll a thing?
Right.
Because dramatic close-up.
Dramatic. We're trying to really push this dramatic close-up of the doll, and it's like, come on.
I think the whole point of the doll must have been to try to humanize her character more, so that when we saw it in the flashback, we would empathize.
Yeah, but it turned creepy instead.
The whole doll thing, I think, was a complete miss for me.
Yeah. And we're talking about like one thing.
Yeah,
I think the show, I noticeably started enjoying it a lot more again when Crone died, and then I didn't have to deal with her anymore.
Well, that's the best part of the arc in the manga too, though.
The theme I'm going here is the flaws from the show are all things that come from when they changed it, basically. Yeah. And so,
which is very little.
So what was Crone's contribution to the story as a whole?
Crone gets brought in, and because she's kind of trying to work double agent, she kind of helps and unintentionally helps the cause of the kids.
Yeah, like ultimately, her actions partially allow for everything else to happen.
Right.
Well, the
So-
other function she is that she's a way to give the kids and the audience inside information about the way this world works without it coming from Isabella.
Yes.
Right. She's a critical like third party to that.
Like for example, that's how we were introduced to Grandma.
Yeah.
Right? So because of the
Well, no, that's not true. Actually, we learned about Grandma when we as viewers, but not the kids, overheard a conversation between her and Isabella.
Well, that's what I mean. Because Crone was there and they were talking about it, we get introduced to that. Like if Crone was never there, would Grandma have ever needed to present herself in the story at all yet?
Right.
I mean, maybe.
So
I think she also serves to
probably contrive something.
contrast with Isabella as a villain.
that's also true. It sort of works a little bit like a foil, even though at that point Isabella still seems pretty cold.
Yeah, Isabella. Well, I would say personally, Crone was never a foil for Isabella. Like, there's never an instant in this entire show where I ever felt like she had she had leverage, and then ultimately she never did.
By foil, I guess I meant like just like a point of contrast between those two characters.
Oh, okay.
So, because like they're both selected as mom candidates, so that's the similarity between them. But they're obviously very different types of people.
They're both very, very smart and very.
Yeah.
Oh, and it should be noted too
capable.
that Isabella isn't just any mom. She is the mom. She is the best mom that has been made.
World's best mom.
She literally, in this world, she is the
mug.
world's best mom because she is the one that produces the best kids.
Isn't it ironic that because she does that, that's why they were able to escape?
Yeah.
Like if she kept them dumbed down just a little bit, they would.
I mean, she and Grandma conspired to break the system and not ship Norman and Ray out early.
Because they're so good.
They're that good that they wanted to meet the date. If they had abided by the rules, none of this would have happened.
They were going to be like the special dish at their like some kind of celebration.
Yeah, well, they were intended for they are a meal for only one. The one. They are intended for the one. This was said in the
Big guy.
9th episode when Isabella broke Emma's leg. She said, "You guys are a very special meal that can only be had by a certain one." So Isabella isn't just a good mom; she's the best mom there is in this world at doing the mom job.
slightly underrated or unrelated, maybe. In talking about the show, it makes me realize just how like we keep saying how none of this would have happened if this one other thing didn't happen. It just how efficient the show is in a way, and like every single event and interaction and clue that we get, it all like is leading to something, and it's all crucial in a way.
It all sort of fits together in a kind of like Brotherhood did.
Fits together just so well. Like the author was like really, really good at putting these events together in a believable way.
We were sort of talking about Attack on Titan, like what parts of that storyline may be extraneous or whatever, but here it's even like a super tight show, obviously a very different type of show, but it just like feels like every minute has to be spent, usefully in a way. There's not a lot of time where it's like, oh, this actually doesn't matter, because
ironically, if you put me on the spot and said, what's the one thing that didn't matter, it would be like scenes where Crone's dancing and talking to a doll.
Yeah,
right. Now, I will make a bold statement and say that of most of the shows on this list, maybe almost all of them, I feel like this is the best written show. Like,
I don't know about that.
What I mean by that is like this. It's like this show does so much with character and so little with action and so little with even animation that like the whole show's quality is purely on
writing,
the dialogue, and how it's delivered.
Character and story. It's got one of the.
It's the core of what makes it good.
It's got one of the strongest character casts and
I don't know. I feel like when you look at the top 4, they're all a little stronger in character.
I don't.
Or at least.
At least
I have a genuine question.
Get ahead of ourselves.
I have a genuine question. Is Promised Neverland like shonen? Like, is it in Shonen Jump?
Yeah.
It is in Shonen Jump. Although many people would
Shonen.
say it's kind of weird that it's in Shonen Jump, but yes.
That's what I was getting at. It doesn't feel like a Shonen.
Actually,
Jump.
one of the best-selling Shonen Jump.
If you wanted to compare it to another Shonen Jump property, it's more honestly, it's like you could say it's closest to Death Note.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, even the I think it was the editor who was interviewed, the editor for Promised Neverland, made that comparison and said that the Promised Neverland was kind of an odd sell for Shonen Jump, but then compared it to Death Note in that same sort of like, this doesn't fit the mold, but we think we've got a good story here.
I think the most shonen thing is that Emma's just like, no, we're gonna escape with everyone. I don't care. I'm a shonen protagonist.
And even then, she was smart enough to know that she needed to concede a little bit.
Yeah. Eventually, she does concede on that, and they can't take everyone.
They couldn't take care of the babies.
It would have failed. They would have failed.
Oh, we didn't talk about this. We didn't talk about this when we talked about the last episode, but I liked how the episode ended on that sort of final twist that Isabella knew that Phil knew that he was in on it. Just like one last thing before we go. She's like,
she probably figured it out while she was running
to
chase them.
Mm-hmm.
I think
it just goes to show like how smart she is.
Yeah,
I think Isabella's a really good villain.
Oh yeah, I think she's my favorite villain this year.
I think so too, because again, I think she isn't just a villain.
Yeah, that's the exact point. It's like, well, you almost can't call her a villain.
Right.
Oh, she's absolutely the villain here.
Well, I mean
now you get into the semantics.
I mean, she's the bad
I mean,
guy.
like, unlike Meruem, who was on a path to not be a villain anymore, she never really got the chance to do anything until like the positive till the very end.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing she did was at the very end, once she realized she was beaten, she took the evidence of the ropes and hid it, took it away so that they wouldn't be found, and then she went back and she let Phil know that they escaped.
They got away.
And so it's like she wasn't, I don't know, it's just hard to explain. It's like she's not an evil person. She's just a product of a broken world.
I mean, like the villain in this story are these demons that just are eating children for fun.
Right. Everyone else is just trying to survive.
And in about 500 episodes, it's going to be like, actually, humans are the bad guys.
Well, that always
I doubt
happens.
it's going to go that way.
I really hope this comes back next year. I hope the next season's good. And
I
know that the stories are good in the next season. I just don't know if the animation's going to.
They're already coming out and saying, we're looking at some ways we could change it. And it's like, well, the parts where you change stuff were the not least good parts. So,
well, I hope they consult the mangaka first.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think I think when we were about to rank this, and I think it's going to have an even bigger range, because I already know Seacoler is just putting it up all the way up there.
I don't know. You don't. Maybe we'll be surprised. You were surprised last time I voted. So.
Yeah.
So, everyone, look at this ranking list.
Mm-hmm.
Think about where you think the Promised Neverland should go, in your opinion. Get that number ready.
Again, the number it will now appear on the list.
That's correct. Find the two shows you're slotting it between.
And that's the number of the show below it.
This is harder than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I'm having a weird.
I think part of the problem is it's so small in terms of episode count.
Yeah, like when you're we have Full Metal Alchemist and Hunter x Hunter at 3 and 4 here, and both of those things are 100. Well, Full Metal Alchemist is 60 episodes, but
but they're both
shonen shows that are complete and entire. Their whole we know exactly how they lead. Where Promised Neverland we're rating based on these 12 episodes, knowing that it's not ended yet.
Well, I mean, Hunter x Hunter is the same way. It's just that
Oh,
it's
that's true.
existed for a much longer stretch at that sort of
Yeah.
level of quality.
It's had more time for it
Right.
to get into our hearts.
Right. It's kind of like if One Punch Man had kept going at that same level of quality, it would probably be it would be higher.
Shows of all time.
Yeah. It would
But
be
also,
much higher.
maybe it would have been played out at that point.
I mean, maybe, but you know.
Like, honestly, season 2, I was like, man, I can't do this waiting for Saitama thing anymore because
they stretch it out too much.
It's kind of
I'm
like
sorry.
Goku to the extreme.
These other dudes are not that interesting. I can deal with it for 2 episodes. But yeah. Anyway,
All right.
Promise Neverland.
Yeah, let's vote.
I still need a bit of... I'm still debating.
I've decided.
I'm honestly stuck between 2 spots. And they're within a few places of each other. I'm trying to decide whether to
I'm
go
also
the low
going
one or
to
the
say
high
too
one.
that like it's hard for me because I'm kind of having to ignore Gurren Lagann because Gurren
really
Lagann is like
shouldn't.
my favorite anime ever,
Yeah,
and I
too low
can't.
for you. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's too low, and
Sorry.
Honestly, I
In
feel
your
that way
personal-
I
about.
know the feeling.
In your
I
I
personal
feel that
list,
way about Black Lagoon and Gurren Lagann.
yeah, like in my personal list, I think Black Lagoon would be higher.
yeah,
But
I
Yeah.
agree.
we gotta
Yeah.
have to. We gotta have to.
I
I
We have to
would-
work around that. Yeah.
back around to the idea of having like later at the end of the year being like, hey everyone, submit your own complete list and I'll average them out and let's see how the overall community ranking is.
I
Or
don't-
at least do it
Point
for the
of
top
discussion.
10.
I mean, the whole point of this podcast is discussion.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, obviously, people have their own opinions,
I
but
think,
just
I think it's perfectly fine for the 2 lists could exist next to each other.
yes.
Well, like maybe have, or at least do like a top 10 of like, this is what the average of the community thinks.
Right. But then I would also have to do the bottom 10.
Well, I mean, the bottom 10 is not going to change. I mean,
Honestly, more interesting. Anyway, Promise
Is,
Neverland.
is Tokyo Ghoul really the worst show? Or
yes.
second worst.
It's a little bit hard to decide that between GXP and Tokyo Ghoul.
Is it anti-drama or anti-comedy? Huh?
Exactly.
Anti-comedy is always better than anti-drama.
Is it?
Is it really?
Well, we decided that it was.
Yeah.
that it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it didn't end on
We're not talking
5
about worst show
minutes
right
of
now.
a single GIF.
Yeah, come on. We keep
Okay,
going.
okay,
Nobody
okay.
wants to vote.
I'm ready.
Right.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I have a number chosen.
I have
I'm
to
ready to
decide.
go.
I have to decide.
Yes.
Oh God. Oh
Then
God.
stop
oh,
talking
God.
about other shows.
Okay, I've
I-
typed my number into the box.
Okay.
The top 10's so good it's really hard.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Has everyone typed their number into the box?
Right.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Post. Jeez. Okay. Okay.
Grexino put 17.
I think you're all
Wow.
crazy.
What
put
the
10.
hell? You think One Punch Man is better than this show?
Yes.
No, I
Oh,
put 10.
God.
I'm gonna have to send you a strongly worded
All right.
letter,
So
Greg.
the other numbers are Morless put 6, Seda put 5, I put
Ooh.
6,
I put
and-
10.
and B does put 10.
Yeah.
And Grex put 17, making his vote pointless.
Yours is just an outlier. We can ignore it. I deal
Yeah.
with data. I deal with data on a daily basis.
Go.
I'm kind of like, I don't think it's better than Black Lagoon or Gurren Lagann or One Piece.
I think it's better
Well, I
than
agree
Mob
it's not.
Psycho.
I agree it's not better than Gurren Lagann, but I have to vote compared to the
Yeah.
stuff around it, and it's tough.
I think Promise Neverland is really good, but I also think I'm counting against severely that it's not as good as the manga.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. We're not rating the
I can't
manga
really
though.
do that.
Yeah.
I can't let that slide.
Like you need to just forget that the manga existed and
Yeah.
rate the show on what it was.
The manga is really, really excellent, but
Well, I
I
mean,
think-
I
I
can't.
think the characters and story carry it enough in the anime to keep it really high, though.
Because every time I think, man, something about this show is not clicking, and every time the answer is, oh, that's where they change stuff.
Okay, Seda, did you
What?
ever feel that way?
With some of the Krone stuff, maybe, but I
Yeah,
I haven't even read the manga. I'm just
Mhm.
like
Right. That's why I'm asking.
But some of that stuff, when I like watched it, was just like I don't really care about Crone's,
craziness.
Doll.
Yeah, it was
like everyone in the show seems so thoughtful, and she's more like not thoughtful.
Yeah, she was a huge
and then
outlier.
when I learned that might not be exactly true to how she was in the manga, it's just like, well, maybe that makes sense.
She still kind of had that manic energy, just not as
I mean,
exaggerated.
there's manic, and then there's like batshit crazy.
So when we're talking about personal favorites here, like top 10 material, it can be hard.
Mhm.
So like I put it at number 5, and that's the highest. And I'm comparing it directly to Space Dandy. When I think about Space Dandy, like I think of those like first 7 episodes or so, like before it really got like into its groove. And I just think like Promise Neverland is half the number of episodes or whatever, but it's just like it didn't take that long for it to get into its groove. I feel like every part of it is so tight. I feel like the fact that it is so engrossing and engaging without having anything to do with like battles, like
right,
One Piece,
it's all mind games.
That it's all
story.
writing. That all of it, that every single part of it that I like is all about characters and dialogue and writing. That gives me a big plus. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna put it above Space Dandy here. The only reason why I didn't put it above like Hunter x Hunter and Full Metal is, like I said, is those shows are complete. I know Hunter x Hunter is not actually complete, but and I just that's a hard comparison to make.
The Hunter x Hunter anime kind of
when I go down the list here, like One Piece has these long stretches where the anime itself, the pacing isn't very good. And that's never an issue in Promise Neverland, really. Black Lagoon, I'd probably place a lot higher. Than it is, but that's where we kind of have to just agree that we are trying to meet at common ground here. So yeah, when I'm comparing here, I liked it more than Space Dandy. I did like it more than Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho, I feel like I just didn't get as much as most people did.
And to just carry on with what you're saying, I put it above Mob Psycho because I felt like I was more invested with the characters in the story in Promise Neverland. I did put it below Space Dandy because I think Space Dandy gets extra points for me for having production values and music and a couple of really moving episodes that touched my heart.
I really like the music in Promise Neverland too.
I feel like Space Dandy's highs are like super, super high. Like the episode where what the little robot dude grows gigantic.
Yeah,
like that's amazing. And the time loop episode and
quality too. The zombie one, the one with all the fucking depressed Dandy is still the funniest moment. If we had a overall new Toonami funniest moment competition, that's the winner.
Yeah, I mean, Space Dandy would be like 7 of the top 10 moments.
I can understand putting Space Dandy below Neverland because it's more of it's a comedy, so your mile may vary.
It's also like
it's just varying pretty hard here, so.
But like Seda said though, like the Promised Neverland, it doles out information and it doesn't do it for fun or for humor or for because it can. It's like every piece of information is important and builds on the story. Whereas Space Dandy is just a collection of fun little adventures.
Well, no, I mean, Space Dandy does actually dole out information. Like, there is an actual thing going on there. It's just that
it's kind of played for laughs mostly, though.
Well, yeah, but I mean, all that information is sort of pulling double duty as actual jokes until the last few episodes when you realize, oh, wait, all that stuff we thought was just funny, silly crap. That's actually real stuff.
Well,
it's
honestly,
not just out of nowhere.
When I think of Space Dandy, the fact that it is a comedy is not actually the most important thing about it. It's more that like each episode is directed by a different person with their variety of art styles and tones and different themes for each episode. And it's a more creative show, like a more of a grab bag of what you're gonna get. Whereas Promised Neverland is, this one singular thing. I don't really mean that as, a negative. It knows exactly what it's trying to be.
Right.
I think Space Dandy, is really has an edge, is that it is a more creative show. It pushes more the limits of creativity and what you can do in an animated show. And then the comedy just kind of comes, just comes along for the ride, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I know eventually I'm going to be defeated on this, but I think, look, the top 10 is for classics that will be remembered forever, and I don't.
Promised Neverland's first arc is the best first arc ever in a
So
shonen.
this is a personal thing. I have never read manga, and I don't really have much interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
Watching The Promised Neverland is the closest thing to even get me even thinking about if I were to get this on by a manga. How do I do that?
This was the manga version is better.
It is, but
The fact that
it's still amazing.
The fact that this anime pushed me to even consider. I wonder what it would take to actually buy this manga because I don't even know where you buy manga. I don't do it.
Amazon.com.
So it's just the fact that
Well,
it's
you could for the record, you could subscribe to Viz Shonen
There
Jump,
are
and you'd get it the whole thing.
ways you could find this.
It's like $2 a month, and you can read the entire thing.
like this is the closest. To be honest, I probably won't. But this is the closest I've ever even come to considering it, just because I'm so interested in.
So
the
that's
show.
what you're saying is that the anime was that good.
And maybe this isn't maybe fair, but like Hunter x Hunter, I have no interest in reading the manga. None.
Oh,
Like I know there's also a manga continuation of that, but I didn't feel the same consideration for it at that point.
The
I still
Hunter
love
x
Hunter
Hunter
x Hunter.
anime is like so much better than the manga.
Really?
not really.
I mean, the story is
Okay,
exactly the
let's-
same,
let's-
but
let's
it's
not get
it's
distracted
way
on-
better to digest it in animated form.
Well,
anyway,
it's because you don't have the huge breaks.
But when I look at the list here, we have in a row, starting at number 5, Space Dandy, Mob Psycho, Gurren Lagann, One Piece. I would put Neverland in that region for sure. Based on these
Honestly,
first 12 episodes.
I kind of had two numbers picked out, and I was sort of waffling between the two. It was either 10, which is where I wound up, or 7, and I'd be fine with 7. You know?
I've gone as low as 21.
Ooh.
I was prepared to say, I think even Symbion. I was even prepared to put it below Symbionic Titan.
Symbiotic Titan was good.
It was good,
It was good.
but it was ultimately incomplete and not all that deep.
You got robbed.
I
Like
think I would. The reason I ultimately put it at where I did is because I was like, well, it's definitely better than Soul Eater.
I'm gonna just throw this out there. I don't do this very often, but I got emotional in that final episode when we got Isabella's backstory.
Yeah,
It moved me, and
that entire episode made me feel a lot of different things.
And when she basically said, go, be free, and she did that, and she smiled, I was just like, I was broken. That's how much it broke me, like in the same way that the Meruem Komugi episode made me feel. Like,
I mean, total honesty, I recognize exactly how well put together this is, but it didn't really do it for me.
That's also where I am. Also, but I rarely cry at stuff.
Heartless Monster.
You've got to be Brooke singing Bink Sake to make me cry.
Well, no, I mean, the problem is that I kind of feel like, yes, I get, why she did everything that it did, but it never really sort of redeemed her at all. It just sort of showed that instead of being that she's still complicit and
She didn't need to be
selfish.
redeemed.
I know, but at the same time, it's kind of like I couldn't feel bad for her at all.
Okay, so I will offer this one consideration, or I mean, more than another one, I guess. So there is still a lot about the Promised Neverland world that we don't really know, like the demons, where they came from. Is there anything more to them than just they eat children? And I don't even know how important that's ultimately going to be. But I could perhaps see if we get to some point where we finally get to explain, where that stuff finally gets to be explained, and it ends up being like dumb as shit, then it might like dilute the rest of the whole series.
Yeah.
That's always the problem when you have like some sort of underlying mystery behind stuff.
That's the risk.
The general vibe I get from past this arc is that I think it's still good, but I think this arc is such a high.
Well, if we watch season 2 and it comes in 2.5 or 2 years or whatever, and we think it dilutes it a bit, we can always lower the ranking.
Yep.
If season 2 ends at the end of the next major arc, I'd say the next major arc is nearly as good as this one.
Well, what I was just getting at before to finish my thought is whenever you have some sort of like underlying mystery, like the mystery itself can be engrossing when you're trying to figure out what is this, what's going on, what does all this mean, and then if you finally learn it, it turns out just to be something pretty stupid, then that can just kind of ruin something retroactively. Like, oh, it was just stupid the whole time.
So, like, what could happen with Attack on Titan this week?
Right, exactly. Like if we learn, I don't think there's any actual
Yeah, well, let me put it this way. I'll put it in the most vague way it can be put.
But
the thing is,
seeing them not get eaten by demons.
What did you say?
I don't think in the case of Attack on Titan, ultimately the mystery is one of the major driving forces. Like everything they're doing is to try to solve this mystery of what the fuck even happened with this world.
Right.
And then in Promised Neverland, it's like it's more of a how did this happen is more of a secondary thing because primary is don't get eaten.
Well, yeah, it's just what I was going to say was that it just you get answers to things, but it just makes you ask more questions.
Okay.
There's more questions to be answered. So it's not and I don't mean that in an unsatisfying way. I mean that in a satisfying way where it's like, oh, revelation? Wait a minute.
It's pretty obvious that they planned everything out pretty well.
Right. But like the thing with the difference between this and Attack on Titan is how good you think Attack on Titan is after you get the revelation hinges entirely upon how you take that revelation. You know? Like if you like it, then you're like,
yeah, you said that earlier.
This is awesome. Yeah. But I feel like this isn't that kind of series.
No, it's not.
You know, like you don't need the revelation to work for it to. Like,
but the point that led us down this road was basically saying that we need to rank season 1, and then we can let season 2 affect that ranking later.
We can cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, clearly, you guys have decided that I'm crazy.
Yes.
How many people in our thread were like, that was an amazing finale? I mean, I saw like 10 people post that. I don't think it's just us. I think you're just sort of, for some reason, not hot on this as we are.
I'm stuck on early stuff. I'm stuck on, man, what the heck? Why did you just...
I think, who was it? Somebody in the thread said they thought that a couple people said that they thought the series started out a little bumpy, but then it got really good. And I think at least one person said they thought once we were past the Crone part, it got excellent. I can see that argument. I don't feel that way, but
I think it's the bumpy start that.
Yeah.
Well,
I think when you rewatch it, it's actually not even a bumpy start.
Exactly.
I'm giving it brownie points in a way because it does not rely on combat at all. And like when I look at this list, like Space Dandy doesn't, but then like the next several shows like all have like battle as a part of it. Ghost in Shell maybe not so much, but
say this thing is that he wants a drama block.
No, the fact that this grabbed me purely on the writing and the characters and dialogue. That's a big point. I think.
Here's something that hasn't been said too, is that like if you had told me that I would like a show that was purely about drama and mystery and it was all about kids, about little kids. Like, I can't believe how much I like these kids.
This is like a coup. It's
best kid characters in any anime I've ever seen, honestly.
Like,
I don't know about that.
The 10 best. This is getting it. I was trying to say something absurd. There's some really good child characters.
Hey guys, did you know we still have to talk about like the rest of the block too?
Yeah, no,
we need to get going.
Like
it's 11. Yeah, okay.
Clearly, it's going to be in the top 10, even though you're wrong. But I think we probably decided it's not better than Space Dandy, though.
Yeah, I put it above Space Dandy, but mainly my argument being those first 6 episodes. But Space Dandy is a more creative show, just by nature, by what it's designed to be.
I guess this thing is probably... Hey, Seacoller, what if we put it below Gurren Lagann?
Well, I mean, obviously I like Gurren Lagann more, but then I don't... Yeah, I want it to be in the top 10. That's all.
Yeah, I think at this point that's going to happen.
Yes.
I think it's better than Mob Psycho personally.
I do too. I don't have any desire to go see Mob Psycho season 1 again.
I
would
kind of
watch
feel like
this
Mob
again.
Psycho wound up too high.
It's
I'll tell you
because
what-
of you compared it to One Punch Man. I remember that.
Yeah. Also, like, and I know maybe this isn't important, but like this show is rewatchable in a way that other shows aren't because of the mystery. Like you go and you get to watch it a second time and see the things you know are going to happen. And that's like, I don't know if that changes the ranking of it, but that is a fun thing about this show. When you watch it a second time, you're like noticing things.
Yeah,
I will
I was rewatching it like yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, Isabella felt around his ear to check for the tracker."
What I will say is that I think it's less a mystery and more a heist movie. If that makes any sense, like the mystery sort of doesn't matter. They're basically trying to figure out how to steal themselves.
Yeah.
It's like anime Ocean's 11, and I know I said this last week.
Yeah, the mystery becomes more prominent.
It's
later.
not important. It's just the justification for them having to, steal themselves.
But like the point I make is still valid that like when you watch it a second time, you get to see all the things you didn't know the first time.
Right, but that's sort of what I'm saying. It's like the heist movie thing. Like when you go back and you watch the heist movie, you kind of see, oh, okay, that's where, all that works.
Yep, exactly. That's what again.
Right.
I kind of rank shows how much I like them based on how much I'd be willing to watch them again.
Yeah,
Mob
Mob Psycho is
Mob
more of like a
Psycho-
broad strokes type of show.
Mob Psycho had this central theme where the end of it, I think one of the things that Reigen says is like you were the protagonist of your own life sort of deal. Like, and that was the sort of like a theme I felt from that show, like taking control of your own life and doing what you want to do sort of thing. And it's a really well animated show, a really well produced show. I wasn't as fond of the characters maybe, but I still think it's good.
Yeah.
I can't even name half the characters.
On what, Mob?
There are
Yeah.
3 characters.
Mob, his brother, and Reagan.
And White Tea Poison.
By the way, I'm going to just say I don't think I was in the episode where Mob Psycho was ranked. I don't think I was here.
No,
Can't blame me.
no, I'm pretty sure you were, because
Maybe.
you were saying something about the brothers thing and how
It
much
really-
you liked it.
It
What?
really
No, I didn't
how
know
much
that.
how much he wasn't into it.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I think
Are you-
I think he came after the show was ranked, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Mm.
I mean, where would you put it?
I would probably put it a little lower, but that's not really.
Honestly, I would too.
No, this is not happening.
Let's just redo the entire list right now.
Yes.
No.
God damn it.
I mean,
I have
I'm
I have
fine
like
with
another
Mob
thing I have to
Psycho being
record
where
here
it is for
soon.
now.
So
No.
Oh,
I mean,
my
it's
god,
11
we gotta
o'clock.
stop. Oh my god. Okay, what if we just put it above Mob Psycho and call it a day?
No.
I'm good with that.
No. I don't know about that.
I'm good with
What if
it.
we put it below Gurren Lagann and call it a day?
No.
Sure.
C. Kohler, would you accept that?
But why not between Mob Psycho and Gurren Lagann?
that's where I put it.
Number 7.
Yes,
Okay.
Do it. Do whatever.
Just put it there, and we'll.
Woohoo!
God.
God, fuck. Oh, fuck. Shit. It's 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Promise
We're gonna
Neverland.
have to-
Congratulations. You're in the top 10 at number 7.
Well, at
We have
least
to blast
the last 3 shows should be a quick.
Sorry, JoJo's Diamond is Unbreakable. You were in the top 10 for half an
A
hour.
second.
5
Yeah.
5 seconds. Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online Alicization episode 22, Titan of the Sword. In this episode, Judelkin sucks. Kirito kills him immediately, and he
Yeah.
explodes in blood.
He got 2-shotted.
He got one-shotted.
Okay, so then Pontifex basically is just like she is told that this world is all fake and that a person could delete it at a press of a button, and she's like, "Well, actually, I don't care. No, you." And I'm going to make a golem out of swords.
I'm going to make
Yeah.
a golem out of forks, and it sounds like it too.
How dare you
Hey,
act like
yeah.
you're my god? I'm your god.
No. The thing that pissed me off about this episode the most is it tried to do that thing like, oh, how do you know that you're not fake too? I'm like, no, you are not smart enough to do this Sword Art Online. Go
No.
away.
No existentialism for you.
Yes. You don't get that right. Go. No.
But in like apparently there's this dark continent place that's about to attack or whatever.
Yes.
They haven't really shown that. I guess we're just taking their word for it.
No. I mean, it was a little bit in like the first episode.
Yeah, they haven't shown much of it though. Just
Right.
like,
No, it's
we just
They're
keep
just setting up for the next part.
it's
And-
totally unearned.
And they're basically like, well, Pontifex, you're not doing anything here to actually help us defeat these guys. And Pontifex is like, well, actually, I don't really care, but I have this sword golem and it'll take care of it for me.
Yeah.
And that's, it's not very interesting.
And
Believe it or
everyone was
not,
like, "What is she
so
gonna? What fancy name is she gonna give it?" It's just a sword golem, and she was like, "I'll call it the sword golem."
Yep.
Good name.
It's so
And like I
stupid.
said earlier, I can't not say that this show does not have good production values. Like I do not understand how such a terribly written show can have the best looking animation on the block.
Because it's popular.
Yes.
Attack on Titan is definitely better.
I'm gonna disagree with you and say that I think animation in this episode was the best we had this Saturday.
No.
It was
Honestly,
really good.
honestly, I
CGI
think the art
Titan was
style in
bad.
Titan is better, but Sword Art probably has more consistent animation, even though
Yeah.
Titan has higher highs.
You guys are getting the pretty lights are blinding you.
Probably.
What I'm saying is that's all it is. It's all style and no substance. That's
Right.
that's the problem.
I wish Yuki Kaijiro would do an OST for a video game again. I guess all
That'd
she
be
does
nice.
now is Sword Art Online and Grand Fate, whatever.
Can we get Yoko Kanno back?
Mhm.
Yes, please.
So yeah,
So we have 2 episodes left, and they're basically going to defeat the Pontifex and realize now we got to take on the Dark Continent.
And she's still
shit.
naked because that's what she does.
she's
Yeah, she doesn't.
always-
She doesn't wear clothes.
Also, believe it or not, the Sword Golem gets dumber.
Oh no!
Oh god,
Sword,
that's
does it turn
impossible.
into like a sword penis or what?
Yes.
Tune
Like,
in
just
next
like,
week for the next exciting
I can see
episode
that.
of Sword
It
Art.
just
Ball
slowly,
Z.
it just slowly raises and then crushes Kirito.
no, like it turns into the giant penis, and then it goes right after Alice because, of course, it does.
You wish that's what had happened.
Lupin the Third, Part 5.
Oh, good. I forgot
Let's
that
go.
was there.
Lupin the Third, Part 5, Episode 3. The killers gather in the wasteland. In this episode, Lupin outsmarts the death pool by basically just making it so, like, hey, check this out. Instead of killing me, the assassins are going to kill the people who have the wrong day.
Kill each other.
Yep,
Mhm.
I'm Lupin the Third.
Emmy gets shot in the process, which
Yep.
was kind
Yes.
of reckless of Lupin to do
Also, when I was 6, I was kidnapped by child pornographers.
Ye-
And I'm
yes,
like,
you were.
please stop.
Okay.
that. Lupin did this last season, where it's like you take this mostly happy-go-lucky show and you put this dark thing in it. It's like you didn't need to go
Lupin
there.
kind of like is either dark or
Well,
comedic.
it's giving us insight onto Ami's character and why she's so aloof, why she's so detached from
Yeah.
everyone, because she didn't have a great childhood, obviously, and she was forced to become basically a coder
Mhm.
for various reasons
I wonder-
after child pornography.
I'm just sitting here being like, please stop asking Lupin if he
Yeah, she's
That's
clearly
gross. Please stop.
clearly not quite right in the head, and she thinks that
Right.
Lupin's only reason for Lupin to be so nice to her is that Lupin wants to have sex, and Lupin,
Yeah.
at least at the very
And
least,
then Fujiko Mine comes in and he's just like, look, why would I ever
yeah,
Fujiko?
I only sleep with
Yeah,
the
it's like he's basically like, no, are you kidding me? Look at this chick. There we go. That's what I'm into.
in the interest of brevity.
Unfortunately, it
we
might
also
kill me one day.
We also learned that Lupin and Fujiko, I guess this happened between season 4 and 5, or part 4 and 5.
They sort of got married and then
They
he
were-
ran out.
Yeah, they were going to get married, but then it was called off like last second.
Oh, I kind of just assumed that was something from like season 1 or something.
I wasn't sure.
I think it would have come up way more in season 4 if
but
that had been the case.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
The
I
only
wasn't
other thing
sure
I-
if that was like if that was
Go
like
ahead.
I'm not sure if that was distant history or just more recent history. 'Cause I'm just
Yeah,
not
who
there.
knows? But the only other thing I'll say about this is that, again, tonally, it's just kind of weird because we go super dark, but then we've got like a guy running around whose like whole attack is like fishing pole based.
Yeah.
And he's
And-
a dumbass.
And then Goemon cuts off does the blade cut off of his hands, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But it turns out it looks like Fujiko has bet Lupin to die that day, it seems. She pulls a gun on him.
Pops is gonna save his life.
I can't believe Lupin's dead. Tune in next episode where Fujiko was in on the plot the whole time.
Yep.
But Fujiko has shown that she'll do a lot for money. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that include actually killing Lupin III and ending the series?
Well,
no.
keep in mind
she might
that
have
he,
some other plot that gives her even more money.
Yep,
well, keep
that's
in mind
exactly
that
it.
keep in mind that Lupin did steal all of the Bitcoin,
All of it.
just all of it.
All the Bitcoin.
And
Hopefully-
last
Yes.
year. And
I
last
mean,
year,
it's
not this
value.
year when it isn't worth anything.
Yeah, it stole the Bitcoin when it was worth money.
So yeah,
Black Clover.
Black Clover.
Come on, Grex. We don't have to remind you to go.
Black Clover,
Oh.
episode 76, Mage X. In this episode, I wonder who's going to win, the team with the captain on it, or the team consisting of Bob, Dean, and John?
For
This
some reason,
episode was stupid. Next,
I'm just thinking about Racer X now.
I legitimately wish that when he first showed up as that weird dude that didn't change expressions at all, that he had just been that the entire episode, just standing there.
So
And
this
these other dudes were like, dude, what the fuck?
So this episode, we're basically introduced to this young captain. His name is Zill, I think.
Real.
Yep.
Rill, and he's like this painter genius type.
His
Only,
backstory sucks.
yeah, he's basically one of those like
annoying ones.
arrogant genius painter types who get
He
mad.
literally says, nobody understands my art.
Right.
He's kind
I
of
don't
like Ghost tier in how much he sucks, actually.
And then he like wounds his own butler, who then convinces him that life is worth living. And then, yeah,
I'm so sorry, Jeeves. Or was it Albert? Or was it Alfred?
Who can remember?
it was Walter, by
Franklin.
the way.
Just
Franklin.
a butler.
And
The only other thing I've got on this one is I do enjoy watching as the Wizard King continues to cradle a sleeping Charmy like it's a child.
Charmy is his child now. This is long.
Yes.
Charmy's the best part of this arc so far.
Charmy sleeping in his lap. That's great.
But yeah, this
Boruto.
guy's kind of sucky. I don't really care about him. He's
He
just a
sucks.
painting guy.
Please shut up.
He can
Yeah.
do whatever he wants.
I'm shocked that those three dudes of complete nobodies lost. It's literally been, which team has the character we know who's been in a show before? Oh, they win. Boruto, episode 37, A Shinobi's Resolve. In this episode, Kakashi's back on his old bullshit again.
Good old Kakashi.
Yep.
All you had to do was work together and you passed, even if you totally failed and sucked.
Well, none of them were gonna ever really get Kakashi.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Kakashi was like, you literally had zero chance of ever actually getting this bell.
We do learn, not that it really is going to, I'm sure, lead anywhere. We do learn the name of one of the classmates that we've always seen and never heard. There's the
Nabita
girl with the
Wasabi?
cat tail. Her name is Wasabi, and she's a medical ninja, and apparently she has some kind of cat cosplay no jutsu.
I think those two girls that have been named before, they just haven't been important at all.
Nabita and
No.
Wasabi.
Yes. But they did a little bit here, I guess. Hopefully
Yeah,
that,
it's kind of
you
like,
know,
let's give them something.
yeah,
Nabita
like,
is actually
it-
one of the more powerful.
so
of
Namida's
Boruto's
Namida's
classmates.
jutsu seems to be that
Classmates.
she can scream really
Mhm.
good.
She's Black Canary, but you know,
Yeah. That's what I thought too. It's like Black Canary.
But I guess as you know, as a sort of after school special type show that this show seems to be, like, I don't know, this episode was decent. You know, you get all the characters working together, various jutsus that they have.
sometimes
No,
they
Pretty,
adapt.
it's a pretty thematically basic concept, like power of teamwork. That's pretty much it. So
It'd be more interesting if Naruto hadn't already done that before.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was okay.
Yeah,
There's some decent animations in the last episode and this one, so it's-
Mhm.
that alone makes it slightly more interesting to watch than like Black Clover, which looks like shit all the time.
I mean, I
Yes.
kind of like the idea of Boruto being like everybody else being like, he doesn't care about being a ninja, but but him like being like the cool, like the guy everybody likes is
He's the motivator.
urging them on to be ninja.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just, again, I always like that Boruto is not, he doesn't want to be the Hokage. And that's like, yet they're still able to make this series work around that.
That's true.
Naruto. Let's go to bed.
Okay.
Naruto Shippuden episode 256. Assemble Allied Shinobi forces.
Ugh.
In this episode, huge armies.
CG crowds.
We're being attacked by bad CG.
It's so bad.
In this episode,
Meanwhile, Killer Bee is teaching Naruto how to stack blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And Naruto is still about 100 times dumber than normal.
Begun the Clone Wars have.
The clone and also every important dead person.
What's worse, Shippuden or Attack of the Clones?
If I didn't know, I mean, it doesn't really feel like it, but having a big part of the story be literally, let's bring back all the dead people and have them fight again. that feels like a filler plot or something.
But hey,
this is actually what the story.
Hey, there are also new dead people you've never seen before.
Ooh.
Because he's like, I also got every dead Kage.
Except for the ones that
except for the ones we've seen.
Because they already get eaten
they got
by the death god.
Isn't there a thing where it's like when the third seals is like, by the way, we're gonna go to hell and eternally suffer because of this jutsu. Just hope you're cool with that.
Yeah, like
nobody ever mentions that again.
In Minato too.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
Yeah, this felt like just like the setup for like a big giant battle, but it's like so weird because you've got the good guys who's all they seem to really care about is that they're all getting new headbands, and then you got the bad guys who are just summoning an army of the undead.
Yeah,
I like that Shizune when Shizune picked up the pig and said, "This child is not food."
Kishimoto had to find some way to make it so realistic that 3 dudes could take on 80,000.
And from what I can gather, it sounds like we won't see this army again for a long time.
Right.
So they won't. At least they won't do anything. Are you okay?
We got a lot of filler to get through, man.
I love filler.
Yamato's in a tree now. He's gonna stay there for hundreds of episodes.
No, he's literally staying there until the series ends.
Yep, they never get him out of the tree.
Even after Naruto and Hinata get married, he's still in the tree.
Guy?
Like literally, he just sort of vanishes at some point in the series, and we're all like, "What happened to him?" And Kishi's like, "Oh wait, I forgot about him.
This is
He's been
Toriyama.
kidnapped."
It's Toriyama levels of forgetfulness.
Except he actually remembered at some point and decided he was kidnapped, and now he's a tree.
I would say that Yamato was a little bit more prominent than Launch.
So what was the thing? Like they have like 1,000 Zetsus now. Like
they have like 1,000 Zetsus,
like 200,000 or something.
Also,
right?
are they just fodder army people then, or what?
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
The
real
the reincarnated dudes are the real thing.
Yeah, I mean, like that's obvious. Like once they showed a shot of all those Zetsus, I'm like, of course these are the cannon fodder.
I like that he brought back Zabuza and Haku only because they were important in the story. These guys are completely outclassed by everyone else there.
Granny Chio, what are you doing?
Granny Chio, no!
Why is Granny Chio coming back?
Because literally he went through a checklist of important people who died and said, let's bring them back.
At least bring back the younger version.
Yeah, why not?
But yeah, it's like, okay, oh no, Zabuza and Haku are there. They are like a bajillion times weaker than everyone else on the field.
You know what's kind of BS? That you know Hashirama the first.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He is like ridiculously OP.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Like if the Reaper Death Seal brings them back at the age they died, why was he so young? Who could have killed him?
Madara.
No, he beat him.
And then he fell down the stairs
There you go.
next to Kushina.
I was about to say the same thing.
And Kunia.
All right, that's the podcast.
All right. Good night.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Night.
No. Thanks for sticking with us for this ridiculously long fucking awards length podcast.
Hmm.
God, I can only imagine what the actual awards are going to be like now.
Oh God.
Oh my God, kill me. Thank you, B-Dubs.
Okay.
Thank you, C-Kohler.
Okay.
Thank you, Seda.
Okay.
You did do you were able to make it after all.
Yeah, because you spent so long talking about Food Wars or something.
Hey, it's big news. Thanks,
I was also
Morless.
late.
Thank you, Morless.
No problem.
We'll see you guys next week for episode 158. Good night.